Good day, good evening, everyone.
Wow.
Well done.
I got a frog in my throat.
You have good job.
Wait, should
Good
we
day,
run that
mates.
intro again?
Yeah, let's just do the intro again.
Re-roll the credits. Let's do it again.
Yeah, that's fine. Just rewind. All good. No one saw.
Oh boy. All right, let me try again. Good evening, everyone. My name is Craig, and welcome to tonight's episode of Guildgates and Goblins, and the second episode of our Curse of Strahd campaign. It still feels kind of fresh, doesn't it? It's still got that new campaign smell.
What? Who writes
Just
these
the hand
intros?
Oh, I just give up tonight. I'm not ready. Just kidding. So yeah, welcome. As you can probably tell, both John and Justin are absent this week. Unfortunately, they are busy. But next session they will be back, so don't worry. But previously with the first campaign, we've done it where I've roleplayed their characters, so there's been a reason for them to be absent. But this time we're essentially just making them be glorified pack mules. So they'll essentially follow the party around and just imagine them T-posing for the whole duration, essentially. It's the best way to think about it. So they'll be there, but not there.
Spicy intro tonight.
Yeah.
I will also be T-posing.
Yes, that'd be good. So a couple of other announcements this week. Do check out our subreddit, which we haven't yet mentioned, really, I don't think, which is r/Guildgates, where you can kind of discuss the show, that sort of thing. And then there's also some great fan art from, is it Matthias?
Matthias.
He has drawn, I think, more or less every single character from our first campaign.
Oh, yeah.
And he has begun working. He's drawn Rosalind Grey, first of all, and it is very good. And it's always great to see it. I think we all love it. So yeah, another thing to mention is that there are obviously audio versions of our campaign available. So if you'd rather hear my voice boom straight into your ears, you can check those out in the description of the video, and you can really appreciate that, I'm sure.
Nothing is better.
And finally, make sure to like and subscribe to Merchant if you haven't already, so you can check out more of his great content and stay up to date when episodes come out on YouTube, all that kind of stuff. So
I love making him do that bit. That's so good.
I don't know what to say. Do I don't know. Do I have to put sell out across my
You
forehead?
just yell like and subscribe, and then we end the stream.
Yeah.
Smash that like button.
Smash it.
yeah.
And you get some obnoxious
Well,
graphic.
no, don't smash it, because then it'll unlike the video. Click it once, then don't do anything else.
No touchy.
All right. Okay. Whoa, that was kind of a weird intro.
Yeah, it went really well.
The strangest one yet, I think. Okay. All right. So to recap last session, we were introduced to the party as all 6 of them were drawn from different places to a dark and miserable land known as Barovia. After coming together and journeying through a forest, they came upon the village of Barovia, met some of the locals. They first met a seemingly kind elderly woman calling herself Granny and selling what she called dream pies. She also told the party about the land's sorry history of the miserable lives of the commoners and the person who is the ruler of Barovia, Strahd. After moving further into the village, they met a man in the local tavern called Ismark, who asked the party for help in spiriting away his sister Ireena, who, for some unknown reason, had drawn the attention of Strahd. After heading to his home and meeting Ireena, she agreed to go with the party, but first asked the players to help bury her father in the nearby cemetery. So, along with Ismark, the party set off with Ireena and the body of the Burgermeister to the nearby chapel, where they met the local priest, Father Donavich, and after being introduced and meeting the eccentric man and hearing the cries of his son, Doru, from beneath the chapel, the party headed to the cemetery to bury the body of the Burgermeister. After the final rites were given and earth was piled up on the top of the coffin, a black carriage pulled by a team of horses made its way around the walls of the cemetery and came to a stop by the entrance. As the carriage doors were pulled open, a figure stepped forth, revealing themselves to be the vampire count, Strahd von Zarovich, and welcomed the party to Barovia. So, are you all ready to begin?
Yes.
Yes.
So, yeah? Okay.
Sir, yes, sir.
Okay. So, Strahd stands at the entrance to the carriage and he steps down and slowly begins to make his way towards you through the cemetery. And again, he continues to eye each of you hungrily and switches his gaze frequently towards Ireena. And as he stands about 40 or so feet from you, he looks at you all and says, "You do not bow before your lord." Do
Oh, I
any
wanna
of
be
you bow?
so-
I'm visibly biting my tongue. I will bow, and as I do it, I'll tug at Lokai's like trouser leg.
Oh, you do bow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm,
What about you, Rosalind?
I really don't wanna.
No, you don't want to. Okay.
We're.
Aramil.
I will stand.
I'll also stand and I'll say
Okay.
we're not really from here.
And this he turns to Ireena and Ismark, and you can see Ismark has kind of almost placed himself between Strahd and Ireena, and Donavich behind them is seemingly kind of hunched over, and you can almost hear a small whimper from beneath them, from him, sorry. But Ismark seemingly stares out daggers towards Strahd. So Strahd takes a couple steps forward, and he says, looking at Ireena, Ireena, it is with the deepest grief that I learned of the death of your kind and noble father. I am anxious to afford some alleviation of your present distress. I know how hollow the death of a loved one can make you feel. You may believe that you will never smile again, that happiness can never grace your soul. And at this, he kind of extends a hand out towards her and says, I have come to offer both my condolences at your father's passing, and to extend the offer of a life spent by my side. Our souls are destined to be entwined. Surely you see this. In this sad and miserable land, only I can offer you the solace and safety you so desperately need. Come to me, Ireena. Come to me, and I will take you away from all this pain. You can see, looking at Ireena, she almost slightly seems to push past Ismark, who's still standing in front of her. Something about Strahd's words speak to her, and her eyes lock onto his gaze as she slowly starts to shuffle towards Strahd. Is there anything any of you would like to do?
I want to reach out to her and say, call her name. Like, Ireena.
Okay, so you kind of place your hand on her shoulder and you kind of stop her and say to her, and as she kind of turns to you, you look into her eyes, which have grown wide, and the pupils are almost pinpricks in her eyes. And she just seemingly shakes her head and says, please, don't make me go with him.
All right. I will look at Strahd and step in front of her.
I will do the same.
I will not.
Okay. At this point, Ismark kind of pushes past you to stand in front of the two of you and says, you'll never take her, fiend. She is my sister. I'll kill you before I let that happen. And he begins to rush towards Strahd and draws his sword as he does so.
Oh, shit.
Is there any way I can
Come on.
stop him?
No, you said you were kind of with Godfrey and he
Okay.
kind of pulled you down.
I just want to know. I didn't know how close I was to
Okay.
him.
All right.
That's-
All right. So as Ismark kind of dashes towards Strahd kind of almost seems to make a symbol in his hand and brings it swiftly down at his side. And I would like all of you to roll initiative as
Oh my god.
suddenly you hear erupting from the earth around you. And you can see these kind of decomposing hands break forth from the ground as what you can assume to be zombies begin to rise up within the cemetery.
Oh,
And you can-
lovely.
and you can see now gathering in the skies above the cemetery are 3 kind of thick swarms of bats, which is seemingly formed above. And so I'll move us onto the battle map.
Way to go, Ismark. Way to go.
I just love it when the NPC just drags
Yeah.
you.
That reminds me of video games where
Oh.
the person you're like taking never
Yeah.
sets off the enemies, but you just like quick.
Literally every Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll add you all onto the turn order. And if you guys just want to shuffle yourselves about how you kind of assume you would be, so Ismark could be a little bit further along like that.
Come
Yeah,
with the
where
big
am I?
11.
Ooh, natural 18.
Oh,
Okay.
wait, I'm supposed to add a thingy. Oopsies. Oh, no, never mind. It's 0.
Alright.
I'm sure this is
Where
fine.
am I? There I am. Yeah, I'd be next to next to Lokai.
Wait.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, hang on. Sorry, my roll 20's being weird. I had to refresh the page.
No worries. Yeah, don't worry. I've got a lot of NPCs to roll initiative
Greg,
for.
for
So
our visual reference, that is Dad himself, isn't it?
that is Strahd von Zarovich, the Lord of Barovia, standing there.
Is this Ireena?
Yeah, so the woman there with the kind of bleach blonde hair, that is Ireena. The man with the kind of shoulder length blonde hair, that is Ismark. And the
What about Big
slightly-
Nose?
yeah, the big nosed figure with the thinning hair and grey at the sides, that is Donavich.
Okay.
Who
course it would be.
Represent.
rolled quite high on his initiative.
And he cast
That way
Turn
he can run away
Undead, and we
sooner.
win.
Yeah, not a great display from Shiny. Gets a 14. Godfrey, what did you get? Your
11. Oh,
Okay.
sorry, I didn't put it. It
So-
wiped it for some
Yeah,
reason.
it sometimes does that.
Um,
Okay.
Just for my own like positional thing, the person between me and Roslyn right now is Ireena, right?
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
Okay, so I don't want to be a stickler, but I did say I step in front of her. Is it okay
yeah,
if I
yeah,
stand here?
yes, that's fine. That's fine.
Okay.
Okay, so Admiral, you see Ismark draw his sword and begin to move forward, but you have the first action. What would you like to do as you see these decomposing figures erupt from the ground around you and the bats swarm into the sky?
Oh man.
Sorry, Craig, can I ask one more question for clarification?
ahead. Yes, no
Is this here to the south? Is that a door back into the church?
No, those are windows.
Oh, okay. Is there a door like on this side somewhere?
No, the only door you guys know is the one on the front, which you came in and out of.
Okay, alright. Cool, no worries. Thanks.
Connor planning to run.
No.
I guess I'll just look to the. I'll look to the group and I'll just say, "Are we doing this?"
Well, you know, I mean, you gotta do something.
I would wait and see what happened.
I will hold my action. So you have to tell me if this is possible. I'd like to hold my action to try and like box off Ireena.
Box off Ireena, so sorry, just like stand arms.
Yeah,
kind of in
like
front
try
of her.
to. I'd sort of.
Defensive stance beside
Yeah,
her. if anything comes in your way.
defensive
So what
position.
we can say, Lachlan, is you're essentially preparing an action that if she tries to move past you, you will stop her, and if anything tries to take an aggressive action towards her, you will do something aggressive and violent back to it. Does that sound fair?
Yeah, awesome.
All right, okay. All right, so does that end your turn?
Yeah, that'll go ahead in my turn.
Okay. All right, so Ismark, as he's stepping forward and drawing his sword, he yells out, "You'll never take her, fiend!" as he dashes towards Ismark. Can he make? He can make it in one turn. Look
Oh,
at
Christ.
that. So he draws his sword and he
This is not gonna
swings
go
it.
well.
Strahd von Zarovich, the Lord of Barovia, and he his first attack misses, but his second swing, okay, he hits well. He swings his sword above his head and he brings it right down on top of the shoulder of Strahd. And as it does, you can see the blade just does not pierce his flesh. But as you guys are looking out towards him, you can see the castle, which looks down onto the cemetery. From one of the tall towers there, all of a sudden just a red glow pulses out across the clouds, just seemingly for an instant that matched up as soon as Ismark's sword hit Strahd. Okay.
Oh dear.
But that'll
He's got an obelisk of Nod. Not kidding.
there's a reference, a Command and Conquer reference. Wow, lovely. All right, okay, so that'll end Ismark's turn. Donavich, who's been kind of cowering towards the back, just basically clutches his hands onto his ears and begins to essentially dash off to the side and takes cover in what small space he can find up against the corner of the church. And he's just going to end his turn there. He's not going to do anything else. So, Rosalind, what would you like to do?
I have a question about reactions.
Yep.
Because I can do I have the protection thingy. So when a creature you can see attacks a target other than you that is within 5 feet, you can use your reaction to impose disadvantage on the attack roll. You must be wielding a shield.
Uh-huh.
So how do I use a reaction? Is that like an action?
It's if something happens and you react to it.
Yeah,
Well,
but does it take up my action?
Right.
No,
No.
a reaction is
No.
a different action, if that makes sense.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so if somebody's taking an action against you, you can use your reaction to.
But you only get one reaction around.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can do an action and then set up a reaction.
You don't need to set, because you're referring to the shield
Yeah, the
reaction.
protection.
You don't need to do anything to be able to do that. You always have that prepared as a reaction.
Yeah,
essentially.
yeah. All you
You
gotta
don't
do
need
is
to
just
worry
be
about that.
beside somebody, and
Yeah.
then you can use it.
Okay, well then I would like to bless my party members.
Okay.
Choose up to 3 creatures, so I will choose Aramil, the girl, what's her name again? Ireena.
Ireena.
And let's go Lokai.
And Lokai. All right, I'm giving them the
Sorry,
flax
Connor.
of the blast. So all those who are flaxing are blessed.
All right.
What does it do? What does it do?
The
Ed?
holy
gives you-
slowly.
Sorry, do you want to read it out?
Yeah, so I bless up to 3 creatures. Whenever a target makes an attack roll or a saving throw before the spell ends, the target can roll a d4 and add the number rolled to the attack roll or saving throw.
Love it.
Yeah.
And I believe it's also a concentration spell. So I'm just going to give you this
Yeah.
little purple dot here. And if you
Yeah.
take damage, you'll need to make a concentration check. But we'll
Okay.
cover that if it comes up. Anyway,
Cool.
so
All
is
right,
that
I'll
your
just
turn?
I'll just
We'll
move up
forward
to
a little
here
bit?
next to
All right. Okay. Okay, so first things first, let's start with Strahd. So as the blade kind of essentially dings off Strahd's shoulder, he grabs Ismark's hand with the sword in it with one hand, and the second one he essentially clamps onto Ismark's throat, and he begins to lift Ismark up, and you can hear the sounds of choking and gasping coming from Ismark as you can see this grin is affixed to Strahd's face as he essentially lifts Ismark up off his feet. That's all Strahd's going to do for now. The zombies, the first one's going to stumble, let's say, I would say towards you here, Rosalind, and it's going to try and take a swing at you with its horrible claws. So the first attack is a 19.
That'll hit.
Okay, let me just check what their damage is for the claw. Okay. So from that, you take, just two points of slashing damage from the first attack. The second one is a 14.
Concentration, remember?
That one hit.
Okay. Yes, you'll need to make a concentration check. Let me just check if the third attack hits as well, because I do get 3 attacks. Okay, the further one is a 7, so that one doesn't hit. So you'll need to make a Constitution saving throw for me.
Constitution? All right.
Yes.
That's a d20 still, right?
Yes.
Sorry, Kat. I need to use your bed. That's a 17.
17. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, it's a 10 or the damage taken. So that beats a 10. So you're fine. You don't lose concentration on that spell. The second zombie stumbles towards you, Aramil, and is going to try and swing at you with its decomposing hands. The first
Cat
one,
does not look amused, Elise.
No.
the first attack is a 14.
That misses.
That misses. The second attack, another 14, and then tries to bite you for an 11, which also misses. The third zombie begins to stumble towards you, Godfrey, and is going to try and hit you.
All right.
Okay, that's a 7.
That does not hit me.
15.
That does hit me.
Okay, from that one you take, 3 points of slashing damage as its claws rake across your face. And
Lovely.
its third attack is that's a non-natural 20, which I assume also
that
hits.
does indeed hit me. Yes.
But this one you just take as it bites into you, you take 2 points of piercing damage as it kind of digs its mouth into your shoulder.
All right.
And then the bats, let's see.
God.
The one flock of blats will
Let's.
blats. This one will also fly towards you, Aramil, and try to the bat's going to swarm around you and try to basically rip out your eyes. Let's see.
Casual attack then.
Yeah, just go for the eyes. That's an 11, which doesn't hit. And the second one, that's a 19.
That hits.
Okay, and you take from that, blooming heck, 5 points of piercing damage.
Wait, can I do my protection thingy here? Because he's within 5 feet of me?
Yeah,
Can you?
you can
I can
impose
impose disadvantage on the attack roll.
Okay,
on the
All right.
bat.
Ooh.
so let me
On
just
the
roll that again.
That
Okay,
bastard.
that will be for now 13, and that doesn't.
Yeah, nope.
Correct. Okay, then with its second attack, is it disadvantage on all attacks, Alias, or just the one?
It says when a creature you can see attacks a target other than you within 5 feet, you can use your reaction to impose disadvantage on the attack roll. It doesn't say
Just
how
the
many.
attack.
I would say that's just one then.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Okay.
the second one is all right. Well, that's only an 11 on the second attack, so that also misses. And then the final bat swarm flutters down towards you, Lokai, and they're going to try and have a go at you. So that's the first attack is 13.
Nope.
Is that hit? And that's another 13. So how about that? All right,
Stupid bat.
stupid bats. All right, Godfrey.
All right. Craig, these tombs, which are to the southwest of us.
Yep.
What do the roofs of those look like?
They're just kind of small stone peaked roofs.
Okay, but not like a crazy angle, right?
I don't know. It's about 45 degrees or so.
All right, I'm gonna misty step up onto this roof. This roof here.
Okay.
I'm gonna cast Misty Step, which is a bonus action, and fly over there.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna just clamber over to the other side of it with my remaining 5 feet. And I'm going to peek out and fire a firebolt towards the bats attacking Loci.
Okay, go ahead.
All right.
I love it.
That is a it's a 6.
That doesn't hit. So as you try to essentially stay up on the slope of the roof, your shot just slightly goes wide and pings off against the roof of one of the other crypts further into the cemetery.
All right, I'll end my turn there, back in my hiding behind the cover.
All right, Ireena draws the sword at her side, and you can see, I would say, Rosalind and Aramil. You can see there's almost a steel that comes into her vision now. Whatever sway Strahd's words might have had over her, she's seemingly shaken off, and she swings out towards the flock of bats attacking you, Aramil, and she'll also add that 1d4. Okay, that hits. Let me just double check what attack she has.
Pleasantly surprised.
Okay, that's not bad. Okay, so she hits the bats for 7 points of slashing damage, and she just essentially carves a hole straight through the swarm, and you can see 2 bats fall out of it. And is there anything else she'd like to do? No, that's it. She's just going to end her turn.
Are you asking that to yourself?
I'll get your NPCs.
Yeah. I mean, I've got a lot to manage here. This is a whopper fight. Okay, Loci. You've just seen Godfrey disappear from in front of you, so.
Can I, first of all, I would like to rage.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will say it is kind of obvious what I'm doing. She just seen me do it before. Mists do swirl up me and I kind of ping off, so.
I'm gonna move up a little bit. Before I do anything, can I turn and, face Ireena and say, get inside?
Sure you can. And you can see she kind of, she nods towards you, I would say,
Probably the safest place for you to be, since Strahd's after you. And then I'm going to take out my axe and I'm going to take a big old swing at this zombie in front of me.
Sure, go ahead.
Because I like to hit things. That'll be a 15.
Yeah, that hits.
All right, sweet.
Smush it.
I'm going to try to. 14 damage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Give me a second. There's a few things that happen.
Yeah, zombies may not die necessarily automatically. I'm undead.
These zombies are a little bit different from ones you may have faced before, actually.
They explode.
They don't explode, no. Okay, so can you remind me what weapon Loci wields?
A great axe.
Great axe, okay. So as you essentially swing back your axe and just cut cleanly through the neck, and what you hope is a killing blow, the head bounces and rolls off to one side, but the body of the zombie stands completely upright, and
God's sakes.
the head, which is now off to one side, you can see the mouth or the jaws even begin to clamp open and shut, seemingly in an act of biting.
Lovely. Watch your ankles.
Yeah, watch your ankles. Just to remind myself, I will give this guy what symbolizes beheading. I'll give him the
snail of
the snail of beheading. Of course.
I can't just use.
There's a head.
I've given him the sad face of beheading. So, all right. Anything else, Loci?
The sad face of no face.
I'm good.
Okay, Aramil.
So, looking at what Strahd is doing right now, his name is escaping me.
Ismark?
Ismark, right? Is Ismark looking like he's
in trouble? Yes.
Yeah,
about to die, basically?
Well, maybe not about
to die. Got up by the neck, right?
Yes. Yeah, he's basically almost he's about to get choke slammed or something like that. Heavyweight.
Off the top
probably
rope.
not in a good
Right. Okay, I will just shout to Strahd, and I will take my bow out and I'll point it at him, and I'll say, "Put him down." Put it down. Spit it out.
Strahd, his eyes almost seem with a lethargy, stare at you and says, "Be quiet, boy." And then he kind of looks back at Ismark as he's holding him up.
Man,
Nice try.
why did he have to do this? All right, I will cast Ensnaring Strike
Okay.
on Strahd. I have to hit though, so this might not work. And I think I have disadvantage because there's things next to me.
Yeah, if you're going to
So-
make a ranged attack, yeah, and I would say the shot's
There you
difficult
go.
because essentially Strahd is holding Ismark up, so I would say it gives him a +2 to his AC.
This is gonna be a really.
Oh boy.
Yeah, this is
Sweet.
going to be a really difficult shot for you, Adam. I'd
Don't
say you
forget to add the
realize.
D4.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's a,
you do get
that's
that
a, fi-
additional D4.
that's
Oh,
a
yeah,
natural 15, and
Okay.
then a natural 14. Okay. Okay, wait. I actually don't have a D4 up. Hang on a second. Don't normally need a D4. And
Until
then
I came along.
oh, a 4, I swear. You guys, it's blurry. You couldn't see it.
I don't understand why anyone ever holds the dice up because you can easily like turn it as you're picking it up.
Yeah, that's
Craig,
true.
I got 8 20s, okay?
Okay.
You can't see them, but...
Okay, 18 plus, I believe, plus 4, so 22.
22. Okay, that hits if you want to roll damage.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not happy about this. I'm not happy about this at all.
Oh, good lord.
Okay, that's a 1 on the
there's
damage
room
die.
on the roof.
So is that a 1? Is that a 1
Busy
total?
right
So,
now.
it's 3 damage, and then, so he takes, then 1d6, so it's 3 piercing, and then
Okay.
he takes another 6 piercing from the vines.
Okay.
And
Does he have any
then-
sort of movement issues, or because you said it was in the same site?
This real quick. Appears at the point of impact, and the target must succeed on a strength saving throw or be restrained by the vines until the spell ends.
Okay.
Uh,
Strength saving throw. Okay. Okay. Strahd gets a 19 on his saving throw.
well, actually, what I'm reading here is I believe he has to use his action to break free from the vines.
Okay. Well, you got.
That's if he
Okay,
gets-
so there's no saving throw, or is there a saving throw?
Well, okay, I worded that poorly. There is a saving throw, but he has to do it on his turn if he wants to.
All right.
Doesn't
Okay.
get one
He
now.
can spend his action to make a saving throw against.
Yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise, he is currently restrained.
Okay. All
And
right.
he
So.
takes 1d6 at the start of each of his turns.
Okay, so as you fire off this arrow, the arrow itself pings off Strahd's shoulder and just kind of spins through the air. And again, you see from the tower in the castle above you, there's this pulse of red light fly out across land. But you do see some vines begin to wrap themselves around Strahd's legs. Okay.
And
That's not
I
gonna
will
piss him
say,
Mhm.
we're not your enemy. Put him down.
Guys, you already shot the arrow. It's too late for that.
Yeah, like the
And-
campaign is just called Curse of Strahd. We're not here to kill you. Don't worry.
Yeah. And then I will go ahead and stay where I am, just in front of Ireena.
Okay. All right.
That'll be
Ismark is going to use his action to try and break free, but he is. No, he can't. He drops his sword aside and essentially grabs onto Strahd's outstretched arm and begins to kind of beat at it and try to wrestle Strahd's hands away from his neck, but he just doesn't seem to be strong enough to break the grip. So that will end his turn. Donavich is quite happy where he is. He's not going to move. He's just going to cower
Chicken.
down and continue to quiver with fear. So, Rosalind, what would you like to do?
Quick question. So I used Bless, and I've got 2 spell slots remaining, right? Is that how
You
that
do.
works?
Yep.
All right. Cool. What's the thing of casting more spells? Can I just keep casting them as long as I have slots available?
Yeah,
As long
yeah.
as it's not another concentration spell, then yes.
Yeah, if you cast another concentration spell, everyone who is blessed will lose blessed.
Okay, cool. All right. So I don't want to do that. I like Bless. I would like to hit the zombie in front of me, please.
Okay, go ahead and try.
Going to attempt to hit the zombie in front of me. I do have my sword out. I mean, my shield out. Oh, I lost my thing. Where are you? Okay. All right. That is a 15 to hit.
That hits.
Yay! All right. 1d8. Got what a d8 looks like. There it is.
It's the one with 8 sides.
Oh, crap. That's 4.
4. So
4.
4 total slashing
Yeah.
damage, is it? Okay.
Yikes.
Shit.
All right. So let me just double check one thing. Okay, no. All right. Okay. So you essentially swing your sword overhead and just begin to hack into the side of the zombie, and you can see you cut deep into it, and it kind of growls out towards you, but it is still standing.
Okay.
Anything else?
I think that's it. Yep.
That's it. All right. Okay. So first of all, Strahd, with Ismark in his grasp, slowly, essentially forces Ismark down to the ground and clamps his hands onto both of Ismark's shoulders, and then he pulls his head to one side, and you can see Strahd's head rear back, and these two long fangs, which you've seen in his mouth, become incredibly long, and he sinks them straight into Ismark's neck, and you can see his a yell of pain comes out from him as his hands kind of beat at Strahd, as Strahd seems to be sucking the life force straight out of Ismark, and then he pulls his head back. You can see his chin is caked in bright red blood, and he kind of grins towards Ireena behind you, Aramil. So that's all Strahd's going to do. Actually, no.
Well, that's all. All right.
Just as a reminder, he does take 1d6 damage at the start of the turn.
Okay, so as the vines wrapping around his legs kind of tighten and trying to deal some form of damage to him, again, pulse of red light from the tower above him. Okay, all right. So the zombie, let's say first of all, the one next to you, Rosalind, is going to swing at you with its arm. And that's a 10, which misses.
Nope.
Second attack is a 13, and I assume that also misses. You are a paladin. Then it's going to try and bite you. Okay, the bite is a 22, and I assume that hits. So that's 4 points of damage. So you need to make a Constitution saving throw for me.
Is this on Aramil?
No, it's on you.
No, on me. Oh shit. Wait, what?
So it's 4 points of piercing damage as the zombie bites into your shoulder, piercing through your metal armor. And then you need to make a Constitution saving throw to maintain concentration.
That's a 16.
16, yep, that's fine. You maintain concentration. The zombie next to you, Aramil, is going to swing at you. First of all, first attack is a 15.
Misses.
That misses, okay. Second attack is all right, well, that's a 7. And with its final bite, it's going to also miss. All right. Then the swarm of bats is also going to try and once again go for the eyes.
Out the eyes.
Okay, that's a natural 20 for the bats.
The eyes.
They got the eyes.
Yeah, they got the eyes.
They go for the eyes, and okay, that's a total of 4 points of damage as their sharp little claws begin to gouge into your face and scrape along your cheeks, but they don't quite find any purchase on the juicy eyeball.
Icky.
The zombie above you, Lokai, first of all, the headless portion of it is going to essentially swing both of its arms towards you. And the first attack is an 11.
Nope.
The second attack is okay, it's a 15.
Yep.
Okay. From that one, you take 2 points of slashing damage.
1 point. Woo.
And then let me just check for the head, because it
God's sakes.
Just stomp on it.
How does the head? No, come on, kick it. Just kick it.
Yeah,
just
punt it.
boot it, yeah.
Yeah, just kick it towards Strahd and let it just like latch onto his face.
Okay, so the
Okay,
head
pitch it like
the
a
head
football.
rolls the head rolls and its jaws continue to open and clamp and shut, but it's not close enough to grasp onto you. It can't move. It is a head. And then the swarm of bats behind you, Lokai, seeing Godfrey move on to the roof of the nearby crypt, is actually going to try and fly towards him, but you do get an attack of opportunity if you'd like to take
Fucking
it.
bats,
Yes,
god
please.
damn it.
So do you want to take an attack of opportunity?
Yeah, I'm taking it. 19.
Yeah, that hits.
9 points of damage.
Nice. Okay, yeah. So you just carve straight into the swarm of bats, and again, you take out 3 in your swing as the swarm looks to be about half in size now.
Bloody bats.
Okay, and then once they close to you, Godfrey, they're going to try and bite out at you. They'll go for your eyes. That's a 14 altogether.
That does hit me, yes.
That does hit. Okay, you take from that.
Wizard, imagine
Oh,
that.
okay, you take 4 points of
Oof.
piercing damage as they scrabble and scrape across your arms and any exposed pieces of flesh.
Love it.
Okay,
Ugh.
and
Alright.
that ends their turn. Godfrey, what would you like to do?
I would like to, and this might destroy the tomb I'm on, but I would like to cast Thunderwave.
Oh, boy.
Okay, all right.
So that requires a Constitution saving throw from the bats, and if they fail, they take 2d8 thunder damage and are pushed 10 feet away from me. Also, this spell emits a thunderous boom audible to 300 feet.
Okay. Okay. All
Holy
right.
shit, overkill.
So let me just first roll a Constitution saving throw for the bats.
Yes.
Okay, so the bats score a 12 on their con save.
That does not make it. No, my
That does
save
not
DC
save.
is
Okay,
30.
so if you want to roll max damage for that.
All right, so that's 2d8.
Pikachu, use Thunder Wave!
Exactly.
Basically.
That's basically
Bats
the
are
plan.
flying.
That's good. That's 13 points of thunder damage.
That's
Wow.
exactly what you needed. So as you clap your hands together, this boom of force emanates out from you, and the swarm of bats essentially flung away from you as their small bodies are just flung out across the cemetery, some hitting
Bat
against the walls.
confetti. Let's go.
Yeah, it's essentially like that. As for the crypt you're standing on, I will make
Okay,
I will
so
make
I
a
will
roll.
say the only thing that it affects is unsecured objects.
unsecured. Okay,
within
yeah, you
there.
know what? I would say the crypt is fine. The foundations shake slightly.
I guess it's like a sound wave more than like
Yeah.
a kaboom.
a few pieces of stone fall off, but the crypt remains mostly intact.
All right.
So anything else?
I wouldn't really know how far they are. I'm checking for my benefit. Okay, yeah, I know they're within range. No, I'll stay where I am. I'm pretty happy here.
Okay. All right, Ireena. What would Ireena like to do?
Go inside.
Let me roll to see what she'd want to do, because I'm not 100% sure. Okay.
Well, you're asking the magic 8-ball.
Dab on
Yeah.
20.
Yeah. Yeah. Ireena just suddenly starts dabbing for some reason.
Ireena,
Okay.
it's a sick T-pose.
Ireena looks back towards you, Lokai, who told her to run, and says, "No, we must save my brother." And she begins to move around here.
Idiot.
She's going to, let's say, finish her turn there. She will take an attack of opportunity from the swarm of bats
Oh
above
my
her.
god.
Somebody grab her.
Okay, but they do miss. And then as she finishes her turn there, she's going to swing out as she passes towards the zombie next to you, Rosalind.
Mhm.
And, okay, natural one, Ireena. God's
Oh,
sake.
God.
That's supposed to be a heroic gesture. All right, so as she tries to swing out next to the zombie, she seems too focused on her brother who's in the grasp of Strahd, and the swing just goes wide. And that ends her turn. So, Lokai, is there anything you'd like to do on your turn?
Yes. I yell out at Rosalind, like, get her inside! Like, grab her and bring her in.
We
Like,
should all go inside.
Yes. 'Cause that guy's gonna friggin' mess us up. I guess I'm gonna try to help out Aramel over here, who's getting swarmed by bats. I'm gonna take
Okay.
an attack of opportunity. It's fine.
You do?
Yep.
And that's another natural one, so miss.
Fuck you, zombie.
Fuck
I'm
you.
gonna swing at these bats.
Okay, go ahead.
A 9.
A 9. That does not hit the bats, I'm afraid.
Actually, wait, no.
Do you want to add your D4?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. No, because I rolled a 5 plus 5 equals 10. It would be 14. Sorry,
14. Okay, 14 hits.
I can't math.
Oh, boy.
apparently.
5 plus 5 plus 4 equals 9. Quick maths.
Yes.
6 damage.
Okay, so again, you carve straight through this swarm of bats, and you knock down a couple as well, and this swarm is looking about less than half of what was originally in it, so it's looking a little bit smaller. Anything
Yeah,
else?
so- no, basically, I just relate to the party. We should get inside, and then that's it.
I would say, just because I think it'd be kind of interesting. Look, I would say it's a free action to boot the head if you want to try that.
Oh,
I
can
would
I
make you make
please?
for a strength check. I would say just to see
Dude,
how far you can.
pick-
Boot.
I'm gonna.
Oh,
I'm gonna
please
kick
multiply
that
it by 10, whatever she gets.
Lokai, the NFL kicker. Let's go.
So you just want to make a strength check for me and let me know. What you think.
15.
15. Okay, so as you kick out and boot the head, it goes flying back and pings off the side of the crypt here, and then just goes far off, deep into the cemetery.
That poor head tried to engage in honorable combat.
His but a flesh wound.
Zombies.
Oh, goodness.
Dirty old zombies.
Okay, does that end your turn?
Yes.
All right, Aramil.
So, out of curiosity, Craig, would you say it would take an action for me to try to like pick up Ireena?
Yeah, well, I mean, to grapple someone is an action, so you can try and
That's if
grapple
she's
her.
willing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she
Well, she's clearly not willing.
no.
Yeah, what's the worst that could happen? I'll go ahead and just run
Lockin's
behind
guide to
Rosalind.
picking up women. Let's go.
Literally picking up women.
right at home. All right, I'm gonna run up to
Okay, sorry,
behind
Armo,
Ireena.
was your path, and just to get all DM rules here, was it like that, and like that? Because you would take
Yes.
you're going to take 2 attacks opportunity from this.
Yeah.
As first of all, the zombie swings out towards you, and
I
that's
will protect him.
that's a 16.
16 just hits me.
Okay,
but
but sorry, Rosalind, did you say you're going to use your
Yeah.
reaction? Okay, so I will roll
I'll
that with
protect him.
advantage. Okay, well that's good because that makes it an 8, which does not hit.
Woo!
However, the
At
bats
least on
will
fire.
also
Rosalind coming in clutch.
the bats try and take a bite, and they get a 15.
Just misses.
Just misses. Okay, so you make it there, no
Okay.
problem.
As I'm running to, I just throw the bow back over the shoulder, and I will try to grab her and say, "There's nothing we can do. We need to fall back." And I will try to drag her back into the church.
Okay, so a grapple is athletics or acrobatics, isn't it? Or is that no?
That's
to
escape, I believe.
It's athletics from you, and
Yeah.
I get
Yeah.
to. Okay.
Yeah,
So,
then you get to choose.
all right. So if you want to make an athletics check for me,
Damn.
because she will try and resist this.
Okay. Please don't get overpowered
I
by
should have
this.
probably did it. I have
110
advantage on
pound
those.
woman. That's a 15.
Okay, she rolls a 16.
Whoa.
So as you try to wrap your arms around her
Feisty
waist,
woman.
grab hold of her, she essentially batters you off and says, "No, we must save him." So, anything else?
Oh my god.
I forgot I had a strength. I had advantage on my punt. I forgot.
Oh, would you?
I did.
Oh, because you're raging. Yeah, sure.
I forgot.
Angry kicker. Let's go.
Okay, I guess I'll just turn to everyone else and I'll just say, we need to grab her before she gets to Strahd, and then I'll end my turn.
Okay. So Ismark cannot take actions this turn as he essentially is kneeling down before Strahd as Strahd's hands are still clamped onto his shoulder, and he's kind of woozy and shaking back. As you can see, there's these 2 large red puncture wounds on his neck that are just bleeding profusely down his side. Donavich is quite happy where he is. He's not going to do anything. So, Rosalind.
All right. I will now attempt to get the crazy woman. So
Okay.
I'm going to go this way, this way, this way, this way.
Okay, so you will take an attack of opportunity as you break from contact from that zombie.
Yeah, you can
So-
try.
The zombie gets a 6.
No, not touchy. All right,
Okay.
I will attempt to grab her and try and convince her, saying, "There's not much we can do. Let's go."
Okay, so are you also trying to grab hold of her and stop
Yeah,
her
I'm
from
just gonna
moving?
try and
Okay, so it'll be
grab-
another
And if,
grapple
if
check.
they're both grabbing hold of her,
I don't know. Oh, he didn't get a grip though, right?
Yeah, but I tried, so advantage, right? That's how
Uh,
that works.
Well, I would say this has happened in 2 separate instances, so it'd be 2 separate checks. It wasn't.
I should have
you
held
are
my action,
yeah, if you'd held your action,
saved myself.
yeah, then I would say definitely advantage. But in this instance, it is not through your powers combined that you try and
Okay.
grapple her.
All right,
So-
so I will try. What is it? What check is it?
An athletics check.
Okay, let's see. Don't roll like shit. Don't roll like yes. 21.
21. Okay, I think Ireena's gonna have a hard time beating that. Okay, okay.
She
Even
got
let's try with the 1d4 she has. Okay. Oh wait, no, because it's
Oh
not
wait, I didn't roll my one.
No, I'm not because it's an attack or a saving throw. These are
Yeah,
not.
it's not-
Oh, okay, right.
Okay, so she gets a 14. So you do, Rosalind. So what you want to do is essentially grapple around her and hold her in place.
Yeah. Well, you guys are like, let's get inside. So, but let's go inside. Can I take her with the rest of my action?
Well, I
inside?
believe it when you're grappling someone, it's half your movement to move with them.
Okay,
So
so
you move at half speed. So how much did you move there? You went from what was it here
I was here, yeah.
to there. So you could drag her 5 feet if you wanted.
Okay, I'm going to move. You come with me. Oh, I can't move her. You can move
Okay,
her.
I will move her. So
Alright,
as
so-
you grapple around her and pull her back, you can see like tears are streaming down her face, and she's just, like reaching out towards Ismark as you're essentially pulling her away.
Where
Yeah,
is
I'm
the
just gonna-
visible exit, though?
The exit.
Yeah.
Well, the only exit you guys know is towards the same way
Looks
that.
like we're yeeting through a window. Let's go.
Yeah, you can try that. So
Well, can't we go over the fence, or is it a huge fence?
No, Loki, through the window. Sorry, it's the only option.
Break the window with the
Oh,
head. You
Let's
like
jack
smash it
his
with a
carriage,
football.
guys.
Ooh, that sounds like a really bad idea.
Okay.
Let's not.
All right. Well, let's see what Strahd will do.
Okay, so I have her, right? She's
Yeah,
mine now.
You're
She's mine
grappling
now.
her.
I was gonna say, wait, who's the evil one here?
Okay. So as Strahd stands above Ismark with his hands clamped onto his shoulder, he grins out towards Ireena and says, "Should you ever wish to see your dear brother again, Ireena, accept my invitation and come to Castle Ravenloft." And with that, he essentially whips his cloak around both him and Ismark and crouches down. And as he does that, with kind of this cloud of mist that's kind of always floating around Barovia, swirls around the both of them, and then just with a dull thump, it kind of thunders out and clears. And as it clears, both of them are missing.
What about the vines? Did they go with them?
The vines are seemingly gone. And I should also say his carriage has begun to go away. So although it's still on the map, it's right. The horse is, yeah, it's rolling off.
Man, I wanted to jack that carriage. Fine.
You're a paladin.
Okay.
Stop it.
And then, oh shoot, that deleted the enemy's turns. All right, okay. Well, I'll add them back on. Hold
I was
on.
next anyway.
Well, the zombies and bats still haven't gone yet. But you can see with Strahd. Oh wait, no, I think there were 14. With Strahd disappearing, the forms of the zombies begin to crumble, and they're still standing, but slowly and slowly, it's going to be decomposing more and more and more. And whatever foul necromancy may be keeping them up, seemingly has disappeared with Strahd, but they still essentially are here for now. So one of them is going to take a swing at you, Aramil, the one just above you. So that's a 9 with its first attack, which misses. Second attack, another 9, and then with its bite, it gets a nat 1. All right. The zombie still with its head will lurch round and come towards you, Lokai, and try and take swings at you. So the first attack is a 19.
Yep.
Okay. You take from that first attack is 4 points of slashing damage. Second attack misses, and then its bite also misses. The bats opposite you will also try and attack you, and they get, well, that's a 19 for the bats.
Yep.
Okay, you take from that 2 points of piercing damage as they bite into you, and then the headless zombie
The chip damage is real.
Yeah, it slowly stumbles towards you and also tries to swing at you with its arms, though. Okay, so that's first attack is a 17.
Yep.
Okay, from that attack you take 5 points of slashing damage, and from the second attack you take, oh no, it's 10, which I don't think hits. So the head will stay where it is. I can't do anything. So that ends their turn. All right, Godfrey, what would you like to do?
I imagine I'm only like 10 feet off the ground, right?
Yeah, it's not high up. Well, maybe for you, I guess.
Wow.
I'll
That's
hop
so
off.
insensitive.
I'll scoot down the ledge and hop off back to the
Okay.
floor. And so he's just 5 feet. How far can I go? All right, I'll just run out background, and I'll fire a firebolt towards the zombie attacking Lokai.
Okay, is that the headless or non-headless?
The headless zombie.
The headless zombie, okay.
That is okay, that's good. That's a 23 to hit.
Okay, yeah, that hits.
That is for 5 points of fire damage.
Nice. Okay, so you just fire off this blast of fire that just smashes straight into the chest as the zombie kind of stumbles back a bit, but it's still on its feet.
God damn it.
Anything else?
No, I think I'm good. I'll end my turn though.
Okay, so Ireena, seemingly now in a fit of grief and anger, is going to try and break free of your grasp, Rosalind. So it's a contested. Well, you had to make another athletics check, I believe, and I get to make a strength or acrobat or an athletics or acrobatics check for Ireena, and we just again compare numbers. Okay, well that's a nat 1 from Ireena.
I rolled a 13.
Okay, so she's overcome with grief, and she kind of bats weakly at your arms in seemingly a gesture of trying to escape as you clamp down and keep a hold of her. But that's going to end her turn. She's not going to do anything else.
I will hold her and I will hug her, because hugs will save the world.
All right, okay. Lokai.
Paladin.
Your paladin order.
Yeah, paladin.
Paladin order of hugs. Hugs, not drugs. Okay.
I'm gonna take a swing at the zombie on like up towards him, like
Above you.
above me.
Yep, okay.
Flying zombies. Oh shit.
Zombies. I have a 21.
21 hits.
Math.
In a math.
12 damage.
12 damage. Okay.
Mm.
One moment. Okay, for this zombie, as you swing into it, you essentially swing through it and you chop off a leg. And the zombie is now hopping on one leg. And alongside it, you can see there's... Let me just grab the token for it. Is a leg which now rests alongside it. You can see it sort of bending back and forth at the joint in this knee. But
Really mutilating these zombies.
Yeah.
These bloody zombies.
God
anything
damn it.
else?
Can I punt the leg?
Pick up the leg and hit the zombie with it. Do it.
Can
Yeah.
I step on it? Can I try to squash it?
What the? It's a leg.
So?
I mean, I would say it's an action to squash. So
Oh, okay, fine, never mind.
Please pick up the leg and beat the zombie with it.
That's an improvised weapon.
Exactly.
all right. Anything else?
No, I'm good.
Okay, Aramil.
All right. I will hit the one in front of me with my greatsword
Okay, go ahead.
for a. Oh, I don't know. That's a 13.
Yeah, that hits.
Oh, thank God.
It's not hard to hit the zombies, I will say.
Okay. For 6. Another 6. 15 points of damage.
15 points of damage. Okay, and as you swing into it, you also chop off a leg, and once again, another leg which bends and flexes, appears alongside the zombies. It kind of falls off. So
They're
anything
multiplying. All
Yeah.
right. That'll-
Though I will say, you're kind of smart enough to realize that it's just a leg. Like, it's just, there's nothing it can do to you, really. It's just a leg.
Thank God I'm smart
Yeah.
enough to know that.
Yeah.
Mm.
So anything else?
I'll end my turn. Sure.
Okay, you'll end your turn.
Actually, I might not be smart enough.
Okay. Donavich is again just going to continue
Yeah,
to cower
that's
where he
talking
is,
to me.
so we'll move past him. Rosalind, what would you like to do?
I'm going to tell Ireena to. It'll be okay. We'll help you get your brother back, but first I need to save my friends. So, well, help my friends.
Okay.
I'm going to try and just basically say, "Don't run away. I'm going to go kill things, and I'll be right back." Cool. So,
Okay.
Oh,
is
keep
it is it
going
an is it an action to let her go, or
No, it's not an action to that. You just essentially release your grasp, and you can now you have your turn, and everything. So
All right, cool. So I'm gonna move up to Lokai. Actually, let me help Aramil here. I'm gonna
okay,
smack the zombie.
okay, go ahead.
All right. Whoop. Oh, bollocks! That is 10.
That hits the
Yay! It hits. Yay for terrible armor
Greg
class.
sounded so sad.
Right.
The one-legged zombie.
I'm coming in with the quarterstaff. Let's go.
It's a 6 to hit. Sorry,
Okay.
yeah, 6 damage.
6 damage. Okay,
Yeah.
so as you swing your axe through, you swing at the zombie and you behead this one, and a head rolls off and appears at his side, and this zombie is looking weak. As
He's
a
a
zombie.
hop
It is
along.
missing
Yeah.
several limbs
The
and its head
hopping
is falling
headless
off. So
corpse.
essentially, just hopping on one leg now. So is there anything else you'd like to do?
Can I kick the head as a bonus action?
Yeah, it was a free action for Lokai, so why not? So if you want to make a strength check
Setting
to
a precedent here.
yeah,
Oh shit, that's not a
Any-
good
The
one.
next 2 hours are just us going to be playing in like a sandbox zombie.
just a pickup game of,
Yeah.
of football or soccer if you're
Uh,
American in the back of the cemetery.
Eight to kick it, and I would like to aim for that dragon statue, please.
The dragon statue. Okay, so you give it a swift kick, but it's just when you kick a ball and it just slightly scuffs the edges rather than it's a full on like punt straight in the middle. So it kind of
Ooh.
rolls and bounces, and it gets a fair enough distance, but it kind of just comes to a stop before you can hit the
Brings
statue.
back PTSD of Rosalind being bullied on the playground for not being good at kickball.
Kickball. Oh dear.
That's my turn.
Okay, so for the zombies, let me just check something. Okay. All right. So as I said, kind of when Strahd left, the zombies are kind of slowly crumbling and falling apart, and you can see now you've kind of beaten their forms enough that whatever foul magic might have been holding them up is slowly crumbling and withering away, and whatever might have been keeping them up is now dissipated, and they crumble to dust before you. So limbs and all, they're all actually dead. However, the swarm of bats is going to try and fly away. So Lokai, do you want to take a swing at
I
it?
sure do.
Yeah. Okay, if you want to
Oh,
make an
yes, it
attack at it.
does. Get him. Get him.
16.
16. Yeah, that hits.
8 damage.
Okay, 8 damage. Okay, that's enough actually. Okay, so
Nice.
as the bats try to fly away, you essentially leap up into the air and just spring your axe through the swarm and just cleave straight through them all, and
Nice.
seemingly bring an end to their foul bat existence.
Multi-kill.
That seemingly looks to be the end of it, as you all kind of take a deep breath and gather your wits and stand now once again in the cemetery, alongside Ireena, who has now collapsed onto her knees and seems to be overcome with grief. Donavich slowly walks out from the cover he was in beside the church and looks around and says, "It's over. Is he gone?"
No thanks to you.
Yeah, he's gone.
Well, some of us aren't built for the martial arts.
Ignore Lokai. She's a big grump. It's fine.
Okay.
That was less than fun, though.
Yeah, I'm gonna head over to Ireena and just comfort her,
Okay.
reassure her that it'll be okay.
She's seemingly kneeling mute on the ground. The tears run silently from her eyes as she kind of stands and looks towards the ground. And as you kind of, what is it you do to comfort her? Do you say anything, or do you just kind of hand on the shoulder? What was it you'd like to do?
I'm gonna just check that she's okay, and I guess just say like, there was nothing we could do, but I assure you, we will help you get your brother back.
Okay, so as you say that, she looks up at you with these kind of big watery eyes and says, "But how? He's taken. Strahd has him."
I don't know, but we'll figure it out.
Okay.
We'll figure it out.
While
So-
she's
Sure, go ahead.
I was gonna say, while she's comforting her, I looked at Godfrey and I go, "Did you notice when we were fighting Strahd, when he got hit by Ismark, that thing back there, the castle's glowing? Did you see that?"
Yeah. Now, I don't know, but it certainly seems like some sort of enchantment was protecting him. I didn't see much, but I saw Armel's arrow bounce clean off him, and it seemed to light up.
Yeah, I've never seen anything like that before myself. He looked completely unfazed by anything.
I've seen a few things like it, but nothing like that. I mean, enchantments and protection and stuff aren't super advanced, but they're pretty advanced, and something of that scale I've never even heard of.
So the castle's protecting him?
Or something in it. That makes a lot of light.
I mean, the castle is... Was it Granny that said that the castle just sort of imposed on the land?
Well, I think the castle imposing on the land is
okay,
pretty
yeah,
evident.
I mean, true. Right. It's possible that the castle has some sort of enchantment on it, or like Godfrey said, there's something inside.
Look, I'm taking a guess here, but in my line of work, and judging by what we just saw, I'm gonna guess there's more than a few enchantments around this place. I'm gonna gesture at like the impenetrable fog banks in the distance.
Sure.
Also, yeah, I mean, from what we've seen, we know that Strahd's no joke as well. This week.
He's certainly more powerful than anything we've dealt with.
Yeah.
We need to be careful. As much as we may enjoy, I know, not with your sour face, but I know you enjoy it, our little excursions, I think this is something different. I'd be careful.
Yeah. We need to be prepared.
We
When we face him next, if we face him next.
we need to fall back and regroup.
Yeah.
Head back to the house.
Is anyone like seriously injured, by the way? Are we all okay?
I don't know. Are any of you injured, or?
I'm
kind of
seriously
cut up a little bit, but
I got a few bat scratches.
more
but,
importantly, some of my magical reserves are a little tired right now. I can recover a bit, but
we should
bleeding
probably
pretty
head back.
badly, but if we're heading back to rest anyway, it'll probably be fine.
Let me
Yeah.
use my spell. I haven't used it yet. Come
Okay,
here.
go ahead.
I want to
that's a
hand
very
you.
dangerous thing when you hear that around the academy.
Yeah, I trust her a little bit more with that than I trust you. No offense.
Okay, wait. How
I'm
does this
literally a professor of evocation. Come on.
How do you know
All of your magic is like exploding types.
I have some other spells.
Not that I've seen.
I can do all sorts of things. I'm gonna cast Mage Hand and tap on his shoulder behind him.
Well, actually, Godfrey, as you cast Mage Hand, normally.
Oh shit!
Explodes on my shoulder.
Normally, Mage Hand has the appearance of it's kind of a blue ethereal hand,
Yes,
essentially.
it's like a spectral ethereal hand. Yeah.
This, when you cast it here, you notice immediately that rather than appearing like a regular human hand, it is a skeletal hand.
Oh,
That's a
still
spooky
terrifying.
choice.
I point to it. I'm like, never seen that one before.
don't tell them that.
Yeah, that's a spooky choice.
I thought
Seems
I'd
kind of
theme it.
All right.
No, all right. Yeah, it doesn't normally do this. Does it still obey my commands and everything?
Yeah,
as
it
normal?
still functions just
That's
as a regular Mage Hand spell, but it looks like a skeletal hand.
Well,
Fun.
seems
I'm
kind of
just
poor
gonna
taste.
go ahead and dispel that.
All right. I'm gonna go on Aramil. And how does this work again?
Lay on
What
hands.
was it you want to
Lay
cast?
on,
guess
hand.
Lay on
Lay on
hands.
hands.
It's just it's like a big pool of healing mana that you can just touch
Yeah.
people and heal.
Yeah. So when I use it once, what do I take?
You
5?
can use up.
From
You can use one to 15 points, however much you want to use.
Use
And
as many points as you want. Yeah.
you can burn however much you'd like to heal someone for that many points of health.
Okay. So what
So
is
you
this?
can- you
With
can-
that
you
pool,
can-
you can restore a total number of hit points equal to your paladin level times 5? What's that?
Yeah. So that well, that's 15.
That's
So
what
you're
I
level
have.
3, so you have 15
okay.
points.
Right. All right. So I'll heal him for 5, just because I want to see what it does.
Okay, so yeah, you clamp your hand onto Aramil's shoulder.
Famous
Aramil, you
Oscars.
feel a warm glow flow through your body, and the gravest looking wounds across you begin to close up, and new fresh skin appears over. But you're still well. How much health are you on? Actually, I can't remember.
I'm below half.
Okay, so you're still pretty banged up, but you feel a little bit more. I don't know, less in pain. I guess is the best way to describe it.
Thank you. Thank you.
While people are healing up and I'm thinking about my spells, I'm gonna say to like to Aramil, but to the party at large, I'm gonna go. You know, on the topic of spells, sometimes I like to create a little bit of fog to kind of, it can be helpful, mostly for running
Oh,
away.
not this again.
Well, yeah, sometimes it doesn't go so well, but I just thought I'd let you know in case you see the fog and think it's him or something here. It might be me, so maybe it'll be fine. Maybe it will be him. We'll find out.
So we're gonna coin toss it every time we see fog, whether it's you or him.
Well, if you hear me casting a spell and fog appears, it's probably me. Either that or I've seen the fog and I'm starting to run away. Who knows? It's an adventure. I promise I'll warn you if I start casting fog.
Okay. Maybe we should fall back and regroup
He's
for the time
supposed to be
being.
the smart one.
I am
Keep
the
that in
smart
mind.
one. At least out of us two. The other two, I don't know.
Mm-mm.
Ireena's distraught, and
Yeah, let's bring her
we're
back to the house.
A
Yeah,
bit.
so well, as you guys have been talking, Donavich has been you've seen Donavich standing alongside her and kind of quietly chatting to her and saying, words of comfort in
Very
some respect
Donavich
to her.
things.
But yeah, well, well, I will say that normally his kind of bumbling demeanor and attention for jokes seemingly is gone, and his personality seems much more serious and grave as he's been talking to her. And as she stands up, she kind of dries her eyes off and says, "Aye, Valaki, my girl, it's the only option. Don't go to the castle. It's what he wants, and we can't give him that. Your brother wanted you to escape him. Go to Valaki and seek out Father Petrovich. He's a friend that I know. He will see you safely." And she kind of nods solemnly towards him and says, "Thank you, Donavich. I appreciate everything you've done for me and my family." And she kind of looks towards all of you and says, "I thank you for coming to my aid. I appreciate putting up a fight, at least. There's not many who do that around here."
If only we could do more.
And as he says that, you hear once again a familiar scream come out from the chapel to your south, and as it kind of reverberates through the cemetery, Donavich looks to Ireena and says, "We've all lost things to that devil." Yeah, so Ireena turns to you all and says, So,
Wait. I looked at Donavich. Strahd did that to your son?
aye, in a manner of speaking. What remains is not my son anymore.
What exactly happened?
Hmm.
We need to know if we're gonna be dealing with Strahd here.
I don't know if this is any of our business.
I would say so.
I'd
If
say
we're
it's
gonna
pretty
be,
pertinent.
if we're gonna be in Strahd's way, we should probably know what Strahd can do.
Yeah.
Okay. About a year or so ago, a person like yourself, drawn here in some way to Barovia, passed through the village. A wizard. He spoke of revolt and rising up, and the common folk, including my son, heeded his words, and they banded together, gathered what weapons they could, and stormed the castle. And he kind of nods to the obviously large castle above you, and he says, the revolt obviously did not work out. Strahd appeared to them, and those who didn't flee, Strahd captured and changed in some way, and then, as a form of cruel punishment to us, sent those he'd taken back as spawns of his own creation. What remains of the person before is long gone. They hunger only for blood. And that's what he's done to my son.
Well, forgive me for being blunt, but why'd you keep him in that state?
Hope, I guess. Hope that maybe one day he can be brought back to his old self.
Do you know what
I've got
happened
no
to
one
the
else.
wizard?
No,
Do you know his name?
no, I'm afraid not.
Well, I'm pretty interested in that sort of thing, so if I find anything that'll help your son, I'll do my best.
I would greatly appreciate that. Anything you can do to help him out, I'd be in your debt.
Well, I'll keep an eye out. It's not exactly my specialty, but we'll try.
Thank you, and best of luck to you. And you especially, Ireena. Stay safe.
Wait, I've got one more question, Donavich.
Okay. Go ahead,
Have you ever seen Strahd get hurt in the revolt or anything?
No, never. There are a few with the self-mastery, is the best I can put it, to even rise up against Strahd, and fewer still who can face him. And those who do, you do not live long. I don't know.
All right. Well, thank you anyway. We'll do our best.
Okay. And with that, he kind of nods at you all, and Ireena begins to walk out through the cemetery, through the entrance. So what was it? And what was it you'd like to? You're going to follow Ireena?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. She says, you're welcome to stay at the manor for the evening. I guess it will be nice to have some company, and then, if you're still willing, we'll set off on the road to Valaki tomorrow.
Certainly.
Sure thing. Is the manor safe?
Yes.
Safe seems like a little bit of a silly word to use here, but
I don't know. I don't know if anywhere is safe, really.
Safer than sleeping out in the open.
Sure.
Relative safety is really the only kind we have around here, and through some cruel twist of fate or luck, for some reason, that creature, he can't come into my home. I don't know why. He just, every time he has come, he cannot. What?
No, I just thought must be invited over the threshold thing.
Yeah, I was
Well,
thinking that too,
that's
but I
what
didn't know if that was
Ireena
true.
says. There's a rumor surrounding Strahd that in order for him to enter your home, he must first be invited. They all had a big laugh about that, yeah.
I want that deep lore. All right.
You want
I
that?
don't understand that reference, so
It's just
fine.
a famous vampire folklore thing.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like
Oh,
a
really?
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
like
a
that's
silly
like a
vampire thing.
very traditional vampire story thing. It's cool.
Yeah.
So let's just build a whole bunch of walls wherever we go, and then he can never get us.
That didn't
Say, do you
explain
guys
why
have any
people were
garlic?
inside.
Except he can charm you into letting him in your home.
That's what the garlic's for. All right. Anyway, yeah. Let's.
Yeah, so you guys have been slowly walking through the streets of the village, and eventually you arrive back at the manor, and Ireena opens the door, and as you all kind of pass through, she closes it behind you and bars the door with kind of a big wooden bar, and then there's several chain locks. She locks behind you and says, "You're welcome to find whatever beds you can, or sleep on the couches in the seating area."
Great, just my notes. How are you spelling Valaki as well?
It's Vallaki.
Cool, got it. All right.
So yeah, Ireena essentially opens up the home to you for you guys to rest and use however you'd like whilst you're kind of staying overnight. So is there anything you guys want to do?
I would mostly be bandaging up some of my scrapes and
Sure.
Yeah, frantically studying the spellbook, see if anything will help.
Okay.
I'm going to go pray.
Okay.
Like a
I
good
will
little
say to the group, I think we should keep a watch for the night, just in case.
Think so?
Can't hurt anything.
Sure thing.
Standard practice for when I was on duty. That was standard practice to keep a watch just in case, even when we didn't believe we were in danger.
All right.
All right, fair enough.
Okay. So as you all begin to bed down, and before we start sort of the chain of watches, why don't we go ahead and take a break here? And so we'll use the bathroom sort of things. So yeah, we'll be back in just a few minutes, everyone. Okay, and we're back. Thanks for waiting, everyone. So yeah, we just left the party there as they began to bed down for the evening and take what rest they could. So I believe you were setting up a watch before you turned in. So who would like to take the first watch?
I'll take it.
Sure. Okay.
I think the humans
So,
should go first.
Can I just ask, the manor you're in is like a 2-story manor with kind of an upper floor and ground floor. Where would you like to keep watch? Because you essentially can watch from like one direction around the house. Do you want to just
I'll take a wander. I'm like, if I can see out the front of the house,
Sure.
like along windows, if there's like a hallway or something, then I would just
Okay,
wander.
you just want to like patrol around the house and keep an eye on all the grounds around it. Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Just want to make a perception check for me.
Oh god, I'm bad at these. Oh, that's not too bad. 16.
16. Okay, yeah, keeping a watch out over the town. You can see it's dark, no street lights or the lights from homes light things up. You can see kind of a distant thunderstorm illuminating the sky from time to time, but there doesn't seem to be anything threatening, at least right now.
Can I see his Ravenloft place from here?
Yeah, you can. Every time there's kind of a crack of lightning, it kind of illuminates the sky, and you can see the silhouette appearing against the skyline occasionally.
Okay.
But yeah, your watch passes more or less uneventfully.
Cool. Who's relieving me?
I will.
All right, I'll go get Aramil.
Okay. So, Aramil, if you want to make a perception check for me.
Sure. 15.
15. Okay. So again, I assume you're just kind of doing the same thing, patrolling around, keeping an eye out wherever you can, and you walk around, and you don't really see anything threatening. No creatures stalking towards the manor in the dead of night, nothing like that. But towards the end of your watch, you can hear the distant ringing of a bell out towards the chapel from where you buried the Burgermeister in Curse of Strahd earlier in the day. And as your attention is kind of drawn towards it, an eerie green light suffuses the graveyard, and as you're looking towards it, you can see from this light emerges what appears to be some form of a ghostly procession. Wavering images of doughty women toting great swords, woodwise men with slender bows, and dwarves with glittering axes, and magically dressed mages with beards and strange pointed hats. All these and more begin to march forth from the graveyard. Their numbers seem to be growing by the second, and they slowly make their way down the main road of the village before heading out along the road to the west, leading out of town. And you watch them for a little while. What would you like to do?
What?
So they're like ghosts?
Seemingly, yeah, they have this green glow about them, and they have this sort of look of people, armed in some way with bows, swords, mages, that sort of thing.
And
go
they're
figure,
they're not
Zargon.
heading towards us, right?
No, they're heading out of the town towards the west.
And do I know what's in the west?
That's the direction of Valaki.
Okay.
And basically the rest of Barovia, essentially. 'Cause you guys are in like sort of the eastern corner of Barovia.
Yeesh.
I guess I'll just finish my watch, and then whoever relieves me, I'll talk to them then.
Okay, so who are you relieving next?
I guess I'll wake up Godfrey.
Okay, so Godfrey,
Alright.
you
Godfrey.
Yes.
I thought I was waking you up. I didn't realize you were
I had
already
something
awake.
in my throat. How's it going?
This is just awkward now. Anyway, earlier while everyone was still asleep, I saw a bunch of figures actually.
I will say, Aramil, this procession is still continuing. You could.
Oh, never mind. Just look over there.
Oh. Well, isn't that something? When did this start?
Like an hour ago, right?
An hour?
No, it's not been quite an hour. It's about
Oh, okay.
5 minutes or so.
Never. Time is weird here. It's more like 5 minutes, an hour. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to tell sometimes.
But I didn't know if I should wake somebody else up. It didn't seem like we should probably go out there. I didn't know what to do.
How,
I figured
Craig,
Ireena might know.
How sort of deep in rank are they? Like, is
Yeah,
this
it's not like ranks of soldiers or anything like that. It's about, I don't know, like a half a dozen figures or so moving along the streets at a time before they kind of bend around, and then more seem to come or disgorge from the graveyard. And it's just this continual procession that passes through.
Huh. Well, that's disconcerting. There's a lot of them.
Yeah. I thought Ireena might know something about it, but I figured she could use her sleep, and they don't seem to be a problem right now, so I figured maybe we could just ask
We can
her.
ask her about them in the morning if this has happened
Yeah,
before.
morning.
Yeah. Huh. I'm afraid this is kind of out of my knowledge, but well, maybe they're nice.
Yeah, maybe they're friendly.
Well, we already heard from Donavich there was a rebellion that got put down.
Oh,
What if
wait a
these
minute,
are the
you're
people who died? They probably
That's
don't like
true.
Strahd as much as Ireena and Ismark don't.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Although at the same time too, they could be like some kind of city watch that he has that just works for him, like the people he rezzed earlier.
That's also
Or
a
the
possibility,
zombies, I mean.
but surely you'd want a city watch during the day as well.
That's true. Alright, yeah.
We'll ask Ireena about it.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna go to bed.
But... All right.
Alright, night.
Sleep
And,
tight.
There's something kind of cute about
Bugs
yeah.
night.
Lovely. Okay, so Godfrey, you just anything else you'd like to do, or just you're keeping watch as well?
Yeah, I'd just be keeping watch.
Okay, just want to make a quick perception check for me.
Sure thing. That's decent. Hang on, let me just check my modifier. That is a 17.
Okay, so yeah, you keep a fair watch around the house as you kind of patrol around it, like the others have done. After, I will say, about another 5 minutes or so, the procession seems to fade off as the last figure leaves the cemetery, and no more seem to follow it, and they fade off out towards the west, and you lose sight of them. Other than that, nothing else seems to crop up. Fairly uneventful apart from that.
All right. Is it morning?
Yeah, let's just say it is. Yeah, because nothing else is going to happen. I'll just be honest. Let's just move on. So, Godfrey, you stay up and wake everyone else up, and everyone slowly comes together. And what would you like to do? You face a new day in Barovia.
I'd
Is
like to
Ireena
go
awake?
home.
Yeah.
I'd like to go home. Not immediately. You guys kind of gather towards the ground floor living room, essentially, together.
I will say, well, should we maybe quietly wake Ireena and get moving?
I'll see if she's awake. I'll head off to wherever her room
Okay,
is.
yeah, sure. So you make your way upstairs, and as you begin to approach, you can see she's just coming out of her, what you can assume to be bedroom, and she still has this breastplate strapped across her chest and a sword strapped by her side. She says, good morning. Did you sleep all right?
Yes, fairly uneventful night. I think we're all ready to get going if you are.
More than ready. Let's have a quick bite to eat and we'll be off. So she kind of heads downstairs, and I assume you guys all have
I'm
a quick
just
breakfast.
down there eating. When Ireena comes in, I will say so. I'll be like, Ireena, Aramal and I saw some pretty interesting things last night.
And I kind of like, what? I saw nothing.
Well, what did you see?
Well, does the word ghost army mean anything to you?
First off, those are 2 words, by the way.
I hyphenated it, actually.
As you say that, she says, yes, the March of the Dead. Yes, I've seen it every night, nearly. Always passes through the village of Barovia.
Where do they go?
I've never tried to follow. Out towards the west somewhere.
Huh. Are they friendly?
I've spoken to Donavich at length about it. Seemingly it's... Well, he believes it's the souls of dead adventurers. Those that Strahd has slain previously.
Well, that's happened. All right, good to know.
They did seem sort of the type. There seemed to be a few magically inclined, a few soldiers of different ranks, people not that different from us.
No, not that different. She kind of smiles towards all of you as you all kind of feel this wash of mortality run through your bodies, as you may wonder, one day do you join that procession? But anyway, Ireena claps her hands and says, well, perhaps we should move on to a more positive subject, the journey to Valaki. Are you all ready? Anything you need before we head out? The wilds can be
I was
quite
gonna say,
dangerous.
before we head out, what should we expect on our way there? Do you know the route there?
I've never left this village before. The path is signposted, and we shouldn't have trouble finding it, but it's a few days' journey.
Is
I
there
don't
anybody in the city that knows it well?
No, the people don't really leave.
Fair enough. Thought I'd get a little bit more info, but guess not.
We'll just have to be cautious. Keep our wits about us.
Oh,
Yeah.
Speaking of info, do you know if there are any sort of other mages or anything around? I'm kind of the only one I've seen so far.
Let me check something. 1 second.
Except that old friggin' bat that sold you that pie.
Yeah, she seemed to wield some sort of magic. I'm not sure on the origin of that. I didn't really recognize it.
Ireena looks towards you and says, the only mage that I can think of is the one who passed through Barovia about a year ago or so. The one who was the cause of the revolt and led the people to their ruin.
What
happened to him? I don't know.
How does he lead a revolt and ruin everything and nobody knows his name?
I think you go down.
Sounds like you, Godfrey, in your spare time.
Oh, come on. We just pillage a little bit. We don't ruin everyone's lives. Oh, I did teleport you here. All right. I might have ruined our lives, but other than that...
Self-inflicted harm.
Exactly.
All right. Well, Ireena, would there be anyone in town who would know his name or where he could have even... Do you know what happened to him?
As for someone who might know him, I can't think. The people will not speak freely of him. He symbolizes hope, and Strahd is always keen to stamp that out. As for what happened to him, as I said, I have no idea. The last I heard, he'd moved with the small army he'd rallied, and that was the last we'd heard of him.
I'd be interested in meeting this mage.
Yeah, I mean, maybe somebody that we saw last night in that ghost army might know his name, but we'd have to go out at nighttime and talk to a bunch of ghosts with questionable allegiances.
Well, isn't it a couple of days to the next village anyway?
That's true, I guess.
Maybe we'll meet them on the way.
Weren't they walking where we're going to be going anyway?
You know, I wonder, do they...
God damn it,
Yeah.
Rosalind!
Wait, I wonder, do they get like part of the way there and then the sun comes up and they just like Groundhog Day just every night get like part of the way there and then
Turn into
I'd
Bill
rather
Murray? Yeah.
I'm not familiar with this Groundhog Day.
I'd rather not tango with undead, you know, if we can help it.
Well, I don't know. I got a good feeling about these ones, but
The
Yeah.
undead are
Yeah, you
far
also had a
less
good feeling
frightening.
about that portal, but look where we are now.
it worked
Hmm.
pretty much.
Uh-huh.
We just didn't really think beyond that step.
Anyway, while they're still chit chatting, I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna go like refill our stocks and try to basically get anything we can get out of Ireena's house for the trip.
Does
Sure.
she have any like weapons or any?
There's a
Fine.
few rusted old weapons and shields and things like that that adorn the walls. For
Talking
supply
like
supplies, I would say you find enough like dried food and water and rations, that sort of thing, to survive a journey of at least a week without any sort of fresh food or water. So that's not really an issue.
Yeah, so I pack it all up in a bag and I kind of just do that while they're chit chatting.
while they're chit-chatting was literally having a conversation with Godfrey.
Well, I kind of snarked him and walked away, you know. The typical
Oh,
thing.
classic.
Yeah,
I,
she
I have
does
a,
that.
I have a quick question before
Faxed him.
before we set off. Who's Mad Mary? I'm just curious.
Are you asking?
I'm asking Ireena. Yeah.
And a poor soul, I guess. I'm not sure exactly what causes the sobbing, but well, I'm sure we'll hear her crying as we leave for the day. It's been
Was
like
she
that for several weeks now.
Was she one of the ones afflicted by Strahd, or just something else?
What do you mean by afflicted by Strahd?
Like Donavich's son. Similar thing or no?
No. Mad Mary keeps to herself. She
Okay.
stays locked up in her home.
Okay.
Well, should we check on her?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. This sounds maybe like we should.
I mean, she can't cause that much trouble, right?
Can she help us on our trip?
I
Maybe.
I doubt that she can.
It's like, is it worthwhile stopping by? I mean, I feel for her. What
I was
to-
gonna say. I mean, I feel like
Let's
being a
see.
good person is. I mean, the same reasoning that we used to help Ireena here, I feel applies to her as well.
Yeah, but are we in imminent danger from Strahd coming back?
That's my. I was gonna say that's my only concern is the longer we linger here, the worse it may be for Ireena and or her brother.
Honestly, judging by what we saw, I don't think we have many tools to use against Strahd at all. I think he can do what he wants.
Yeah, but if
Yeah, I
he
feel
can't
like-
necessarily find us right away, then it gives us some
He-
sort of.
He
Yeah.
knows that we're at this house. I mean, there's nowhere else really we could be. I personally feel that for the same token that I wanted to help Ireena, we should go and help this woman.
I just think it might be good to talk to someone else who might know something.
Yeah, I feel the same way. And I also feel like if Strahd wanted to dismantle us, he could do it in,
I mean,
Uh-huh.
he left. You
He
saw
left.
what he did
could,
to
he could
Ismark.
have
He could have.
easily taken us all down. He's playing with us. Just toying with his food before he
Yeah, I
chews it
feel
up.
like
put it out.
he probably wouldn't have had much of a problem with any of us.
No.
Even me.
It's basically impenetrable.
Especially you.
Well, you
I
at
can-
least can do your fancy
I
little
can teleport.
disappearing act.
Make myself.
He can not only teleport himself, he teleported other people.
Well, that was a different thing, but yeah, don't bring that up around Lokai. She was just starting to cheer up.
I don't know if I've ever seen Loki do anything resembling cheering up,
You've seen me for 2 days.
right?
Yeah.
And both
Oh,
of those
she-
days.
She loves treasure. Don't worry. We survived a lot. Then she puts a smile on her face.
Back to the task at hand. Ireena, would you mind, or do you have any reservations about us getting some more information and seeing what Mad Mary has to say, seeing maybe if Granny's got more information for just, I don't know, anything that can help us? I
Well,
want to know what other people have tried so that we don't make the same mistakes.
there are few who try, and if you're looking for a way to beat Strahd, Mad Mary and that old crone are not the ways to do it.
I
I
didn't know that.
Well, there's seemingly more to the old woman than she lets on, isn't there?
Well, precisely, and that's what we're trying to find out.
And as for Mad Mary, well, she's called Mad Mary for a reason.
Have you ever met her?
No, but she has lived in her house as long as I've lived here.
How does she survive?
I don't know. Never really thought about it.
Well,
I mean, Ireena would be safe here within the house, even for just an hour while we were gone. We could go in, check on Mad Mary, and come back, and it won't slow us down that much. We can make a potential ally within the town. We can do the right thing.
Well, your destiny is your own. I prefer to leave, though. But if you wish to learn what you can, then do as you will.
how about a good old-fashioned group vote?
Yeah, good idea, Godfrey. Democracy. All right. All in favor of leaving right away, say aye. Okay, neither of you said aye. Why are you raising your hands? That wasn't part of the instructions.
Ha! Unanimous! We win!
Doesn't solve your problem. We're still tied.
Yeah, okay, well, this is unfortunate.
Well, I guess the upside is if she's always in her house, we can come back and see her at a later date.
Yeah, I guess. She
She
survived this long.
I wonder who that is to be mad and survive here.
So are we departing for Valaki then? You
Yeah.
don't
It
wish
would
to meet
seem
them?
so.
Yep.
Let's get going, yeah.
Very well. Okay, so she kind of gathers a small satchel to her side and packs up what few small belongings she has, and she begins to unbolt the door and unbar it and makes her way out of the house. And I assume you guys are all following, and she's essentially going to just start walking through the village out towards the road leading to the west.
What, no carriage?
Walking, I'm afraid. It's walking.
Damn it. Alright, fine. I will walk in front.
Okay, So- one moment.
Oh, we gotta get jumped.
No.
I don't like it when you say one moment.
No, that's me just...
Craig, why is this
switching
track called Spooky Strahd 01? What is that? Strahd Ambush 2. Oh.
Okay.
That attack.
So you guys begin to make your way west out of the village of Barovia and follow the muddy path. There doesn't seem to be any part of it that's cobbled or paved. You cross over a small bridge that leads just outside of Barovia and heads out west, deeper into the Slavich woods, which seemingly surround everything in Barovia. And you guys continue along this path. See, it's seemingly uneventful for the most part. You pass through the forest, and again, these kind of tall trees with a low mist floating through it hangs at your side. And is there anything you guys want to do as you're traveling along? I will be honest, it's a nondescript, muddy path for a little while.
We did show Ireena the letter, right?
I don't think you showed
No.
Ismark the letter.
We showed Ismark. Is there any reason we should show her?
I don't think it's gonna tell us much more.
I don't think so. I just make like small conversation, like, you know, has Strahd always been here? Like, I'd ask, like, has Strahd always ruled over these lands?
As long as anyone I know has said, I believe it's been not even a generation, but hundreds of years, if you believe the stories. This land has long suffered under his rule.
What does he want?
I don't know. Me, seemingly.
Yeah.
Power, I don't know.
Why don't you go with him? Seems like it'd be an improvement.
I don't know if I would still be myself if I was with that fiend.
Yeah, fair point. I probably
I was
wouldn't
gonna
go
say,
either.
remember friggin' what's his face's basement? That guy? Yeah, this is what
Yeah,
Strahd
he was
can
yelling about wanting to eat us.
Why did you even go down there? Jeez.
Why'd we go
Yeah.
down there?
Yeah.
Yeah, see what was down there.
What if you gotten out? Then what?
Well, then
We
Oak,
made
I
sure
would
he
have
didn't,
hit
you
him
know.
and I would have thrown fiery stuff at him. Same as usual. That's our MO. It works. Don't worry. We go down.
Actually-
If there's good stuff, we take it. If there's bad stuff, we hit it and set it on fire.
You steal?
No,
You just said you take
Yeah.
stuff.
it's not stealing if
They're
it's
like ruins.
ruins. Nobody owns it anymore.
What? It's
Well, it was the church. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not gonna
You're
steal
gonna
from the.
steal
I was
from
gonna
the
steal
church?
the kid. I just wanted to see what's
No,
down
oh my
there.
God. Please don't ever be around me when you do this shit, because
I
I
was gonna steal
will.
from the church.
I will reprimand you.
Also,
It's
it's not
in
even
my
your
blood.
church.
She's also got that switch now too. She can actually reprimand you.
Let's not talk about that.
She can try. Jeez.
Craig, while they're bickering, I'm gonna keep an eye out for any dangery do's.
Oh,
that might
because
be-
I'm a natural explorer, I can both
Spoiler.
bicker and stay alert for danger.
All right, well, if you want to make a perception check for me, Lokai, just to keep a watch out.
Ooh.
Oof. Is that the first
No,
one?
no, it's a good oof. 23.
23. Okay, yeah, you keep a good watch out and eyes on the woods and the road behind you and in front of you, and suddenly nothing threatens the party. And slowly, after about a couple hours of travel, you guys come to what appears to be a fork in the road. And as you get closer and closer, you can see there's an old gallows by this crossroads that creaks in a chill wind that blows down from the high path to the west. A frayed length of rope dances from the beam. The well-worn road here splits, and there's a signpost opposite the gallows that points off in three directions. So there's Barovia village to the east, which is where you just came from. There's Zerpool/Valaki to the northwest, and Ravenloft to the southwest. And the path to Ravenloft seemingly leads upwards, whereas the Valaki-Zerpool path leads downwards. And across from the gallows, there's a low wall that seems to be crumbling in places and partially encloses a small plot of graves shrouded in fog.
That's a lovely sight, isn't it?
Seems to be a recurring one here.
Yeah. Well, I guess we know which way we don't want to go. I gesture towards the Ravenloft sign.
Yeah, I
Let's
think
see.
that's probably a fair shout.
Mhm.
So are you guys just moving off down the path leading towards Zerpool/Valaki?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay. So as you guys begin to leave the area, you can hear a creaking noise behind you coming from the gallows. And
Oh god.
as you all turn and take a look, where there was nothing before, now hangs a lifeless grey body. The breed turns the hanged figure slowly so that it can fix its dead eyes upon you.
And it wasn't
To-
there before?
No, it wasn't there before. To most of
It's
you,
like I would like to rage.
to most of you,
And make dead bodies.
the hanged person looks like just a kind of typical Barovian commoner, a woman wearing sort of threadbare clothing that kind of hangs in tatters off her. However, to you, Lokai, the figure hanging from the gallows looks exactly like you, and a chill runs up your spine as you see it.
Can I
Yeah.
stop?
Hmm.
Can I stop and like I'm assuming like they probably don't see that. So can I like kind of like stop and like stroll back towards it?
Yeah, well, everyone sees a body now hanging from the gallows where there was none before, and it made this
Okay.
kind of audible creaky noise as it seemingly appeared there. So to everyone, it looks like there's a body hanging there. It's just to Lokai, the body hanging there looks exactly like her.
What
Yeah,
the-
so I silently kind of just like walk up towards it.
Sure.
Does it change? Like it still looks like me?
Nope, it still looks like you hanging, slowly spinning in the wind from the gallows.
Holy crap. I walk right straight up to it, like right in front of it.
Okay, so you stand up
Uh.
onto the gallows and
Lokai?
you're kind of standing beneath the body, looking up towards it, I assume.
Look to the others. I look back.
You all right? I mean, that wasn't there before. It's kind of strange, but
I was like, I look at them and I go, "Do you guys see this, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it wasn't
yeah.
there before.
Yeah.
Like now that they're looking at it, does it look like me? I guess is what I'm saying. Like, do they look like they recognize it?
I think it
like
looks
I
like
would?
someone else to us. But to you,
To,
it's like,
to everyone else, it looks like a Barovian commoner. To you, Lokai, it looks like you.
Okay.
So I'll say, I don't know. Poor soul. I wonder what they did.
Well, I'm gonna
Is it
assume
real?
it's
Like-
not real.
You guys don't see this. Like, what
We
is...
see it, you great big
We-
lummox. We're talking about it
I
right
lean
now.
over to Godfrey and I'm like, is she normally like this?
Look, she can
I
carry
kind
a
of
lot,
I
okay?
panic a little bit, and I'm starting to look around, like, to see if I can see anything that would be, like, the cause of it.
Can I
like,
start ritual casting detect magic on it, Craig?
Sure, you can start casting that. Lokai, you take a quick look around, and seems to be nobody's hiding out in the woods, causing this to happen. You don't see anything other than yourself hanging by the neck.
Lovely.
Poor soul.
Would
I
it-
wonder what happened to her.
Would it
Or if
make
she's
you
real.
feel better if we buried it? You're acting surprisingly strange.
Okay,
Are you okay?
Can I take out my axe? Can I try to chop it, like, the rope down so it will fall down?
Sure, go on.
Or is,
Yeah,
it too high? Was it too
no,
high
you
up?
can essentially like reach out towards it. You're pretty tall, and it's not really, you don't have to jump to reach it. But as you do and you swing out towards it, your axe cuts very easily through the rope, and you feel no resistance. And as you make contact with it, the rope disconnects. The body doesn't slump suddenly to the ground. It merely begins to melt away, as if, and is carried away on a wind. And whatever was there before
What the hell?
fades into nothing, and now there's just that single fraying rope. And that happens for all of you. You all see.
I'll stop casting detect magic. Well, never mind. You broke it. Well done.
So none of you...
Wait, what's wrong?
That was me!
Sure as shit
No, it
wasn't you.
It had my face. It was me.
No.
No, it
Somebody's-
was not you. I described something that's definitely not Lokai.
Sorry, God.
It,
My dog's worried too.
Oh.
No, it's okay, Pupper.
it, it looked like just another citizen that we didn't know.
I didn't recognize
Before
her
our
at all.
time.
Somebody's
Yeah.
playing
I look at
tricks.
Godfrey like I mean, like, I'm not joking. Like, this is
Yeah, I mean
weird.
that's.
Like, he
possible,
doesn't see me
I
scared
guess.
very often, but like I look like kind of panicked.
No, I believe you. I think somebody's playing tricks. That's
Mm.
pretty powerful illusion magic, though.
No,
Erecting an
that's weird.
illusion like that, I probably
Wait,
know a couple people who can do that, but I wouldn't be able to pick them out.
If someone could do that, though, would they have to be nearby? Is there someone watching
Oh,
us?
I have no idea. Something could have triggered it. Could have been set up in
Couldn't see
advance.
anybody,
Somebody
right?
could be
Maybe-
watching us. I don't know.
I was gonna say, maybe who knows what Strahd is capable of. Maybe he can do it from...
Yeah, the only thing I can tell you about that is, well, that's a pretty powerful illusion if someone was able to hide it like that to the rest of us. I don't know. Sorry.
Let's move on.
Yeah,
I don't
know.
I kind of put my axe away. I was like, let's just go.
Okay,
I, like, stomp off.
moving off. All
That's
right.
a shame. I would have quite liked to fight a zombie Lokai. That would have been fun.
I give him like a.
all right.
I would like Trace. I'm kidding.
Have to take the squash action.
Yeah. Go try and punt Godfrey.
It is a
Misty
free
step,
action.
misty
Yeah, it's a
step,
free
bye.
Okay. So you guys continue along the road for another hour or so. I'd say you guys are past midday at this point, but the road kind of slopes downwards until it begins to run parallel to a river, and it looks like it kind of might connect to the same river that ran alongside the village of Barovia. That kind of essentially cuts the land in two. And the path kind of follows alongside it for a little while until it comes to what would essentially be a kind of a small valley where the road kind of is intersected by two sort of raised hills either side. And you guys
Does
want
it-
to keep moving through?
I was just gonna ask, does the valley look natural? I mean, is
Yeah,
this
it looks
setting off?
natural, yeah. No, it
Okay.
doesn't set off any alarm bells. But as you guys get a little bit closer, who was in the lead? Was it Rosalind? You said originally you were going to lead the party.
Yeah.
Yeah. As you begin to get closer to this valley, you can see where it kind of curves around slightly. There's a figure on the left-hand side of the road, seemingly standing completely still. But you can't really make out any details. They're just seemingly standing rigidly by the side of the road.
Do you all see that, or is this another illusion?
Okay, so as the party kind of crowds around you and you point it out to them, you all see this figure standing rigidly by the side of the road.
How big?
It's about the size of a man, human man.
How far away?
From the distance you guys are, probably about 100 feet or so. It's a little bit away.
Well-
Alright. Keep your guard up. Let's continue and
Well, we can
say
try being
hi,
friendly.
maybe.
Yeah, I was gonna say friendly until proven not.
Exactly.
What you said.
Just like they always say.
Yeah. If unfriendly, punch.
Punt.
Alright.
All right, yeah, let's walk.
Good lord. All right, that's actually Strahd, and he's going to kill you.
I'm just staring intently.
Logan
'cause
just
I'm
runs up
pretty-
and kicks Strahd in the shin.
That'll show him.
Take this, you
Screw
bugger.
Okay.
Alright, we'll walk up to him.
Okay. Well, as you guys get a little bit closer and start to pass into this kind of small little valley, you can see as you get closer, it doesn't actually appear to be a person. You pretty much pick up instantly that it's not a person, but well, looks to be a scarecrow. It has sackcloth eyes and has a face kind of stitched into the head. That's kind of in this kind of rictus grin, and you can see it's kind of standing T-posing essentially, with long, sharp knives at the end of its arms, which are made up of kind of two large wooden
Why would a
sticks.
scarecrow need knife hands?
And it's essentially bouncing on a single wooden post. But you can see the guts of the scarecrow have almost been torn open, and hay is kind of spilling out. But also inside the guts look to be several dead ravens.
Well, that's normal.
Well, just for good measure, I would like to shoot an arrow at the scarecrow to see what happens.
Of all the things you can do.
I'll look to the party and I'll say, I mean, don't we want to
I mean,
know
if you
before we
want to
walk up
destroy
next
it,
to
I
it?
could just light it on fire.
Fucking,
I feel like
fucking leave it.
Yeah, just
No,
leave
this
it.
is- leave it. This seems like a problem.
Yes, it does, and it seems like a problem that right now isn't doing anything. And to be honest, we seem to be in Problovia, the land of problems, and I'd appreciate it if you didn't go around causing more problems.
You know, I'm not going to be lectured by the guy that willingly went downstairs into the church to harass a pastor.
I did not cause or harass any problems. Thank you. I was assessing a problem. That's different. You would have went downstairs and shot the poor kid, so...
There's a guy who shot Strahd as well.
Yeah,
Good
we've
shot,
been
by
here
the way.
like
That was
3
impressive.
hours, and I could already tell that was a bad idea.
I was merely trying to restrain him.
With
and
an
make him
arrow.
put down. With magic that requires me to shoot the arrow.
Cute magic, but sure. Yeah, I think that you probably shouldn't shoot it. Maybe we just walk past. Maybe nothing happens.
Okay, sure.
I mean, he's got
Wait,
knife hands.
so no one's poked the scarecrow yet?
Not yet, no.
No one,
Oh,
no
yeah,
one's
staying
saying
well
anything
away
to
from the scarecrow. I'm agitated. I am away from the scarecrow.
I say we give it a wide berth.
Okay.
All right.
So how wide a berth are you guys going to stay in pretty much the opposite side of the road from it,
Yeah.
or are you going to move off the path?
Opposite
I
side
had a
of the road.
question. Are there any like fields or anything that a scarecrow would be needed for?
Seemingly
It's
not
just-
around here. It's thick wood either side
What
of
the
the path.
hell? Why is there a scarecrow there? Huh.
That's what I'm saying. Why does he
Because
have
we're in-
knife hands?
We're in
But no,
Barovia.
don't
Nothing
shoot
makes sense.
Yeah,
Okay.
true.
You guys have
That's-
been, well, I would say you guys have been standing here long enough that you see a single raven floats down and flutters down and lands on one of its arms and kind of pecks at the wood of its arms and kind of moves towards its head. And all of a sudden,
Oh, that's why it's got knife hands.
with blinding speed, the hand suddenly shoots up and impales the raven on its knife hands and stuffs it quickly into its stomach before the scarecrow slowly resumes its rigid posture.
I hate
move
this
along.
place so much.
Quickly,
Let's
moving
keep
along.
going.
Moving along.
That's actually really efficient, though.
Why?
No,
Why?
that's
Why
just
Yeah, what-
disturbing.
What do you mean
Ah.
efficient?
I mean,
Oh, yeah,
it gets rid of the crows, does it not?
Look, I live and work in a place where people make weird things for fun, and I hate this. Let's
Yeah,
just
let's
keep
please-
going.
Let's
This
leave
is
it alone.
absurd. Just
Yeah.
move.
Other side of the road. I'm away from it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just walking with Loki behind it.
Scurrying
behind
along.
Loki, like staring at the scarecrow.
Okay, so are you all passing it and you all keeping an eye on it just to make sure it doesn't
Yes,
suddenly look
absolutely.
Yeah,
yes.
okay.
Yeah.
All right, so as you guys are passing it, it almost seems to lock gazes with you, but you don't see it's moving or anything like
Yeah.
that. But you detect there is some life to whatever foul creature that is Are you all right there?
I hate
Just
it.
Nervous?
I hate it.
Okay.
Make the
So as
scarecrow
you,
go away, Craig.
okay.
Scarier
Well,
than
as you walk past it, you can see where its kind of open stomach is. There's something red and shining within the bowels of its belly. Do you want to just?
Don't.
Oh,
You're the kleptomaniac, so I'm watching you.
I don't steal things. You got the wrong impression.
No, walking along.
Trying to tempt us with shinies. How dare you, Craig?
You can see he's just like, go on, you know you want
He's
it.
like,
You know you want it. No,
No.
All right.
Let's go.
Okay.
nope, resist. We are.
I guess I'll keep it then. Okay. So you guys continue along and leave the scarecrow behind, whatever it was, whatever it does there. Well, who knows? You continue along the muddy road for.
Craig's so annoyed. Fuck you, scarecrow, mate. Get out of it.
So you will continue this road, and it still kind of runs parallel to river. And you follow it for another good few hours until the daylight begins to fade, and you get the sense that maybe you should start thinking about making a camp. Until you can see just in the distance off to one side of the road
Turn up the
alongside.
scarecrow.
Yeah, it's actually the scarecrow camp where they all live. You can see the glow of a campfire through the trees. And as you guys continue to move along, two brightly dressed figures who are leaning against the forest begin to make their way towards you. They seem to be human men. One of the figures is a slim man in a bright kind of patchwork jacket. He has kind of dark, wavy hair and a purple paisley bandana across his forehead with a kind of a trimmed goatee and mustache. And the second figure is another man, but he's much broader. He has a kind of a small felt cap on his head and a thick beard covers his chin. He wears a bright yellow waistcoat with a dark shirt underneath, of which the sleeves have been rolled up, and you can see his arms are thick and covered in swirling tattoos, and both figures have scimitars hanging by
How
their
far
waist.
are they from us?
They're about 50 or so feet, and as
They look aggressive.
no, they don't look aggressive. They aren't reaching for their swords, and as they get a little bit closer, the larger figure calls out, "Oh, there, on the road."
When they get to about 40 feet, I go, that's far enough.
All right. Greetings to you, and a fine evening.
Greetings.
If it is evening.
Traveling?
Oh, well, we can assume so if you're coming along the road. I'm Grigori, and this is my brother Stefan. We were told to expect you along this path.
Which
Wait, who?
Madam Ava.
Who is Madam Ava?
Is that the scarecrow?
I don't know the scarecrow of which you speak, my friend, but
You'll see it soon.
Madam Ava is one of us. She's blessed with the sight, they say. But she told us that you would be coming along this road, and we're here to ask for you to come to our camp and enjoy the hospitality for the evening.
The site, you say?
Yes, prophecy and the.
Oh, prophecy.
But of course. Alright,
I'm gonna lead up to
What's
Luca
our
and be like,
names?
"That's not real magic."
She has this foresight. What are our names?
Well, she's not here right now.
He kind of leans down and whispers to his brother Stefan, and his brother kind of shrugs and says, "We don't know. She didn't tell us."
All right. You're not gonna
Seems-
try to make us pay or anything, are you?
No, please. We wish to invite you to rest for the evening. Come, it is growing late.
If you try to rob us, she is. I'm gonna point at Loco. She really doesn't like that. So.
Don't worry. We have no intentions on your purses. Don't worry. So they kind of gesture for you to come a little bit closer.
I'll turn to Ireena and be like, "Do you know these people?"
Yes, they seem to be Vistani. They travel Barovia. Some of them are quite friendly, seemingly like these people. I've heard of the one of which they speak, Madam Ava. Her powers are quite well known. If you're new to this land, they say it's quite fortuitous to seek a reading from her.
Have you had one?
No, she does not come to the village itself.
Oh.
I believe she might live out here. I've
Well-
heard rumors of it.
I'm gonna go along with the weird.
Yeah, I believe we should take a rare opportunity to meet someone who's not actively after us.
Just
Yeah.
be on your guard. We don't know that they are yet.
Okay. So they kind of gestured for you to follow this kind of path that leads through the woods down towards what looks to be their kind of camp. And they begin to move off, and as they're kind of leading you, you hear the larger figure call out to his brother, and he's looking at you when he says this. Ireena says, "Look at this one, Stefan. His skin is so tan, almost like the Grigori himself, eh?" And he kind of laughs and chuckles, and his brother just kind of shakes his head. And his brother says, "He will lose that tan soon enough. Barovia will steal it from him."
Wow, that is very ominous.
However, the path you're following leads kind of through the trees, and you can see there's kind of deep ruts along the earth, which seem to be evidence of the comings and goings of wagons. The canopy of mist and branches that kind of floats through the trees gives way to what looks to be a clearing, and here next to the river that widens to form a small lake just a little bit further down to the west. And the camp itself is made up of these 5 colored tents that are kind of round in shape and about 10 feet in diameter. And pitched around them are 4 barrel-topped wagons. A much larger tent stands near the shore of the lake, and its sagging form is seemingly lit within by some form of light. And near that tent are 8 unbridled horses that drink from the river. And there's mournful strains of an accordion clash with the singing of several brightly clad figures who are gathered around a campfire with their pot kind of boiling over in the middle. And they kind of cheer and yell and welcome you as you seemingly arrive in the center of their camp. And the large figure who's been kind of leading you says, "Please come, have a seat. We Vistani pride ourselves on our hospitality. It would be foolish of us not to offer you something to eat, and how about something to drink as well?"
By the way, we haven't told them our names, right?
Let's not do
They're
that.
not weird
Oh.
pies, are they? The things to eat?
No. We make stews and what other meats we can from the local wildlife. Sometimes it can be a bit harder, as I'm sure you've learned.
Smells good.
Yeah.
Glad to hear that. That brightens old Grigori's heart.
I'll extend my hand to Grigori and just say, I'm Aramil.
Okay. It's a pleasure to meet you, Adam. He kind of claps you on the arm and he pats you on the shoulder. He seems to be quite a strong figure as he kind of leans over you. He says, "Well, please, a seat by the fire and warm yourselves up."
I'll sit down.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll sit down as well.
I
Okay.
will sit down
Lower.
suspiciously.
Okay. So as you guys kind of sit down, you can see there's several figures kind of flitting between the tents and the wagons that kind of run around, and they all again look like kind of brightly dressed figures with kind of a more olive complexion and generally darker hair than the kind of commoners of Barovia that you have seen. Who generally look much paler and much skinnier and not nearly as healthy and hale as these people. And they seemingly dance around the fire, and there's people with stringed instruments who kind of play along, and seems to be everyone's having a good time, and a few folks kind of wave at you and say hello, but no one seems to come up to you until Grigori, the large man who's been kind of escorting you through, sits down amongst you and says, "So, if I can ask, where are you coming from?"
Take a guess.
Well, I would assume the village of Barovia.
Yeah, you'd be right.
Oh, we're not coming from Ravenloft, that's for sure.
No, I didn't think so, no.
Yeah, we arrived here by accident.
Sky
And,
magic.
Yeah, some sort of weird fog or something, but
I've heard of people like you. Generally, they seek out Madame Ava as well.
How many?
Over the years, Grigori has lost count. It has been many. There's one
Great.
like you not so long ago, a year ago or so. I'd see he was probably the last one.
A wizard?
Yes. Have you heard the tale of the mad wizard?
Please tell us.
oh, he's mad. Good.
Yes.
They're always mad in the tales.
That's what they say he was. Anyway, well, as I said, a mighty wizard came to this land over a year ago. Grigori remembers it like it was yesterday. He stood exactly where you are now. He was a very charismatic man, and he thought he could rally the people, Barovia, against the Devil Strahd.
Can I?
Mr. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, while he's like telling a story, can I lean over to Godfrey, like kind of whisper and be like, "Remember, this is the people Ismark told us they were spies for Strahd. Keep that in mind."
I was kind of going, yeah, that is true. Ireena didn't seem to share the same concern, though.
Just be on your guard, what you say.
I mean, look, do you think anything here isn't a spy for Strahd? I mean, we've seen, like, gallows that probably are a spy for Strahd.
Even the birds.
Scarecrow. We don't even know the other people we're with. Who knows if they came here as authentically as we did?
You're making me feel a lot better, Godfrey. Thank you.
Oh, glad I could help.
Anyway, go on, Craig.
So I will continue the tale. So he stirred them with thoughts of revolt and bore them up to the castle en masse. But when the vampire appeared, the wizard's present army fled in terror. A few stood their ground and were never seen again. The wizard and the vampire cast spells at each other. The battle flew from the courtyards of Ravenloft to a precipice overlooking the falls just down there. I saw the battle with my own eyes. Thunder shook the mountainside, and great rocks tumbled down upon the wizard, yet by his magic he survived. Lightning from the heavens struck the wizard, and again the brave soul stood his ground. But when the devil Strahd fell upon him, the wizard's magic couldn't save him. I saw him thrown 1,000 feet to his death. I climbed down to the river myself and searched for the wizard's body, but, see if he had anything of value. But the river Ivlis has seemingly already spirited his body away. What fate befell him, I cannot say.
You know his name?
Afraid not.
Oh my god.
Does no one know this guy's name? Holy.
So, he went blow for blow with Strahd, though, for a bit, right?
For a time, yes, seemingly. He seemed to put up quite a fight.
Well, I'm something of a wizard myself, so...
Did
well,
you notice...
maybe you feel a little bit better, eh? He kind of claps you, or he leans over to clap you on the shoulder, Godfrey. You moved... Okay.
No, I accept I take the clap.
Okay.
We're not doing that again.
Okay.
So, oh god, PTSD. I was just gonna say, did Strahd seem harmed during this encounter?
Yeah. What happened afterwards? Where did he go? Did he go?
Grigori cannot say. I did not see Strahd. After the fight, my focus was on the wizard.
You guys seem to have a pretty, unharassed life here. Why does Strahd allow you to live like this? You seem a little cheerier than the village folk.
Yeah, seems a lot more optimistic.
It's a question we Vistani have long thought about. We cannot say, but we enjoy life nonetheless.
Huh. All right.
We've seen a few of the Vistani in Barovia. Any reason? Why do you bother going there?
To the village itself? Well,
yeah.
The three sisters there, they own the tavern.
Oh, they own it?
Yes. Can't say I know them that well, though.
Can I ask him, what's your guys' thoughts on Strahd exactly?
Well, keep your head down and stay out of his way.
It's kind of what
Fair
we're
enough.
planning not to do eventually.
Well, speak for yourself. I'm more concerned of the way off this area.
Yeah. People that have fallen from the sky, like we did. Do you know if any of them ever left?
Are you all right?
Dog stare I'm going
This is the stare off at the
Is this your dog? Just asking.
I do not know where he got Rabbit Mutt. Get him out of the camp, eh?
Shoo.
Well, the people who come, well, no one leaves Barovia. And I would welcome you to your new home.
That's...
Have you ever, you guys seem to travel a lot, right? What about that bloody dog? What about the old fog that's all around? What happens if you go into it?
I cannot say. It's not something I've tried to pass through myself.
Have any of your people traversed it?
Make a persuasion check on that one there, Connor.
Alright. Oh, let's go. Let me check my modifier. I didn't think it's going to be that high, but... Oh, it's a 1. So, unnatural 20 in that case.
Unnatural 20. Okay.
Dang.
Grigori kind of seemingly chews over that and says, well, they say there's a few of the Vistani who can pass through the fog, but how they achieve such magic, I cannot say.
Are any of them here?
No, not in this camp. But
All right.
if you're looking for answers to your questions, perhaps Madame Ava is who you should speak to. She's in that tent over there. And he kind of gestures towards the larger tent that's closer to the river.
I feel like he's pressuring us to go see Madame Ava.
I think we should probably go see Madame Ava.
You know, guys, I was thinking we should go see Madame Ava.
Let's do it.
A fine idea, my friend.
All right, let's go say hi.
Is she going to speak to us? Like, is she all right?
Yeah,
Well, she asked us to meet you on the road. I believe she will, yes.
Okay.
Okay, I'll like knock on the canvas.
Okay, well, as you guys stand up and move away, the seemingly merriment continues around the fire as the Vistani seemingly enjoy another evening in Barovia. And as you approach the canvas of the tent, before you can knock or open it or call out, a voice calls out saying, "At last, you've arrived. I've been expecting you."
It's Orith Greenlives. All right.
Okay.
May we come in?
Yes. Come on in.
Let's go in. I walk in.
You walk in. Are you all walking in?
Yeah.
Will it fit us all?
Yeah, it's a quite a large tent. It's not
Okay.
it's not small or cramped. So you all pass in, and as you do, the voice calls out, "Make sure to shut that flap behind you. Don't let the chill in."
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
as you guys pass in, you can see you're inside this kind of dark tent, but it's illuminated by these kind of looks to be magical flames around the edges that cast kind of a reddish glow over the
That's cool.
the interior of the tent, and it reveals kind of a low table covered in black velvet cloth in the center of the table. And glints of light seem to flash from a crystal ball in the center of the table as a hunched figure peers into its depths. And you can see there's a small, worn deck of cards placed next to this figure. And as you enter, they look up and you can see it's a very elderly looking woman. Her face is heavily wrinkled and almost appears twisted in nature, and she kind of smiles at you as you enter, and you can see several teeth are missing, and those that remain stand like tombstones in her mouth, and her long, thin fingers end in pointed black nails. And she has a long purple shawl across her shoulders with several pieces of jewelry hanging off it and a scarf draped across her head. And as this elderly woman speaks, her voice seems to crackle like dry weeds and says, "Please, have a seat. I've been expecting you."
So we've heard. I will sit.
Yes. Introductions are not necessary. I am Madame Ava, but I know who each of you are.
Who am I?
Master Godfrey Goldspark. You're a long way from the studies and classrooms of the Silver Peak Academy. Aramil Duval. How do you think the fair town of Dunrost copes without its protector? Lokai.
Probably not that well.
Mhm.
Lokai, do you still think about your old tribe? How do you think they've fared since you left? And Rosalind Grey, you've come quite far from the pomp and ceremony, if your upbringing.
Well, yeah, you passed that question. All right.
So you've come for one of my readings, have you? To peer into fate and see what it has to offer?
I guess so. What can you tell us?
Well, telling a fortune is a solemn business. Great weight is granted to these cards. And she gestures towards this small deck by her side, and she says, "What I discern from them will help you as you travel these lands. Clues and secrets will be revealed to you, and for you to have a hope of saving this land and yourself, you do well to listen to what the threads of fate reveal to you. Are you ready for your reading?"
I've got my
Is it-
notepad file open as we speak.
Is it for all of us or just each of us? Like, do we
For
each have
all
one?
of you. The secrets are for all of you.
And
We're all
what-
ears.
Okay.
All right, well, yeah, go ahead, I guess.
So Madame Ava picks up the deck of worn cards at her side and begins to shuffle them. Her withered hands move nimbly, and with practice ease, the sounds of the folding and shuffling seem to carry a great weight, and your eyes are all drawn into this display. The cards are unfurled and collapse back together. The deck is cut and shuffled back into itself. And all the while, Madame Ava's eyes pass over each of you before finally and solemnly she places the deck on the table, cuts and stacks it one final time, and draws 5 cards. Not revealing these cards to you or herself, she places them in the center of the table, creating the shape of a cross. You can see the backs of the cards are made up of a pattern of black and grey diamonds, and layered over the top of them are 2 circles drawn in white. And she says, 5 cards I have drawn from the Tarauka deck, and 5 clues you will be given. And she points to the furthest left card and says, this card tells of history. Knowledge of the ancient will help you better understand your enemy. And she flips over the first card, revealing the image of an elderly-looking man with a long white beard, some sort of arcane energy shooting from his fingertips, and a gnarled staff grasped in his hand. And the top of the card reads, the wizard. And she says, as this card revealed, look for a wizard's tower on a lake. Let the wizard's name and servant guide you to that which you seek. And then she moves on to the top card in the cross and says, this card tells of a powerful force for good and protection, a holy symbol of great hope. And turning this card over, she shows the image of a man dressed in a long coat with a high collar. A beret or hat, seemingly in the style of those worn by merchants, covers his head. He holds up fingers in what you take to be him counting in some way, and his outstretched hand to several sealed envelopes, and alongside him is a herd of cows. But floating above his head is the symbol of coins, and the top of this card reads, the trader. And at this one she says, look to the wizard of wines, and wood and sand, the treasure hides. Then she moves on to the rightmost card that she's laid out and says, this is a card of power and strength. It tells of a weapon of vengeance, a sword of sunlight. And flipping this card over, the image that's revealed is the image of a woman. Her her arms are curved around her in the shape of those casting a spell. She has hooped earrings and bangles that adorn her, and floating around her are 3 egg-shaped objects emblazoned with arcane symbols. And the top of this card reads, the enchanter. And as it's kind of revealed, Madame Ava looks at it and says, I see a kneeling woman. A rose of great beauty plucked too soon. The master of the marsh knows of whom I speak. Then she moves on to the 4th card at the bottom of the cross and says, this card sheds light on one who will help you greatly in the battle against darkness. Your greatest ally will be a wizard. And she kind of reveals it, and it shows the image of looks to be a man with a kind of beard and straggly hair, but he's kind of leaning back and screaming out. And the image looks to be in some sort of window pane that's cracked, or potentially a mirror. And as her hands hover over the final card, she says, are you ready for the final piece of the puzzle to be revealed to you all?
Ready as we'll ever be.
Okay. Sorry, one moment. I just got my notes mixed up. Fuck. Sorry, just give me 1 second. I realized I pasted over the wrong thing earlier.
Will be Strahd.
Fuck's sake. Sorry, 2 seconds.
That's fine. Don't worry.
We're just sitting there with bated breath, and she's just like,
Completely unacceptable.
Sorry, just fill the time.
Gazing distantly into the crystal ball, and we're all
Stop
just
staring at
we're
me.
all just like,
on the edge of our seats. You do have to build
She's a
suspense.
big fan of drama, yeah.
mm.
She loves the suspense.
Okay, the final image the final card that she revealed is that of a skeletal-looking man in a high-backed throne. Long arms at the edge of the throne end in demonic, almost leering-looking faces. And the figure sitting in the throne has these long, pale arms that is kind of draped across, wearing this dark robe. And across his head, he wears a crown, which has curved horns peering up or rounding the edges. And she says to you, what is it she says? Oh my goodness. Sorry, the Troika deck is kind of complicated. I just want to make sure I'm doing the right part. And she says, finally, he lurks in the depths of darkness, in the one place to which he must return. And then she kind of picks up the remaining 5 cards and says to you, and so ends our glimpse into your destiny. The threads of fate have revealed all they will. It is up to you to use this knowledge to free yourselves and Barovia from its curse.
Do you do this for everyone that comes through here?
If they ask me to.
Is it always the same answers?
No, they change with each party that passes through.
But no one succeeded.
None yet.
Huh.
Well, we thank you for your service and helping us.
Yeah.
You mentioned a wizard several times. Is it the same wizard that fought Strahd last?
I cannot say. The cards have revealed to me all they will, my dear.
Well, he doesn't look like me, which, to be honest, is a weight off my shoulders.
Do you know someone? I can't remember the name of the city where we're headed to.
Valaki.
Valaki.
Yeah. Do you know someone in Valaki that might be able to help us decipher these clues?
Afraid not. Keep your eyes open as you travel Barovia. You never know when what these cards are revealed to you might crop up.
Craig, sorry, just one word of clarification. In the wines one, about the merchant, did you say the wizard of wines or the dealer of wines?
Trader of wines.
Trader.
He said wizard.
The top of the card read the trader, and Madame Ava said, "Look to the wizard of wines."
Cool.
In Wooden Sand, the treasure hides.
All right, perfect. Thank you. All right. Well,
Guess we're going on a glorified treasure hunt at this rate.
looks like we got some wizards to find.
Yeah, a couple of wizards or one that just keeps coming up over and over.
Do all wizards know how to do your teleporty thing like that, maybe? I don't know.
Well, that's not really a whole teleport, but I'd imagine most wizards of at least a bit of experience know how to do that. It's a pretty useful one.
If you don't mind me asking as well while we're here, you routinely help people potentially overthrow Strahd, and he doesn't care?
Whether these secrets I've revealed to you will help you, none can say. Why I'm permitted to do this, I can't say either.
I was gonna say, it's not like she's really helping us. She's just giving us our future.
Yeah. We don't know what that future exactly holds for us. Huh. Well, thank you, I guess. Will we see you again, or?
Probably not.
How did you know we were here?
The threads of fate revealed to me what they will.
Could you tell a fate of someone who's not here? Or is it?
You've had your reading, I'm afraid.
All right. Well,
Well, we should probably get some rest, and we have still a bit more of a journey to go to take Ireena. Unless anyone else has any other questions.
Don't think we'll get any more answers here.
I don't think so either.
No, we're gonna need to bear these in mind.
Yeah.
As we go forward, yes.
Keep an eye out for things.
Lots of wizards.
Lots of wizards.
Well,
All right.
Thank you, Madam Ava. Happy
You're most welcome.
future sighting to you, and have a good day. I'm going to leave now.
Okay. So you guys
Yeah.
all make your way outside the tent, back into the camp of the Vistani. And let's go ahead and well, I guess, is there anything you guys would like to do especially, or you're just going to sort of bed down and prepare yourselves for the next day?
Bed down, I imagine, and
Yeah.
dream of nightmare scarecrows.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nom, nom,
Alright.
nom, nom, nom.
All right. So yeah, that's where we'll call it for this evening.
All right.
We'll rejoin the party next time when they wake up in the Vistani camp and see where this region of the cards might take them. But yeah, thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and all that good stuff. Blah 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 blah. And yeah, we'll see you next time.
See you next week. Bye.
Bye bye.